everybody, and welcome back to Tablestory Dust Veil with your host, me.
Oh man,
What
you
was-
just got like 10% cooler at least.
Oh,
And also other members of the
Oh.
cast, including BradWOTO,
hello.
Tuesday Grey,
And a bunch of
HJ
expendable
Tenchi,
people.
Vale Excalibur, and Connor, who still doesn't have a camera.
It's all right.
Sorry.
You fixed that.
You will be.
You will be.
So what happened to your old camera?
The
Blew up.
camera it burned out.
Like on fire, or just the lens is burned out?
Did
No,
you put it in a Did you put
Yes,
it
I
in a
threw it in-
microwave?
Into the fires of Mount Doom and
Hey.
blew it up.
Who do we? How blowing up are we talking here? Like,
No, I've tried new drivers and everything, and it must be the lens. Like I can literally, if you want, I can turn it on now.
no.
Yeah, let's see it. I
Confused.
want to look.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
see what it looks like. He just suddenly disconnects from the,
Yeah.
as soon as
Like,
I play this
yeah.
computer
the
up.
whole computer explodes.
Watch it work, and this was just a scheme to get money out of Brad.
Yeah. God damn it. Played me like a damn fiddle. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We have had a sporadic run the last couple of weeks with packs and whatever else. But we're back to maybe finally finish the mystery of Abigaila Stonetooth murder mystery single episode that I planned for it to be that has become a trilogy. Or more. I don't know. They might drag it out longer. Who knows? It really shouldn't have been this difficult. But it was. I feel absolutely fantastic. How does everyone else feel? Any PAX plagues? Who went to PAX?
I'm like getting low key sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am above such mortal concerns.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is why I need the fair like
Well,
emote in my chat.
No,
the
I
problem
just
is
praise
Vio
to you.
is sick, so like she's my
Oh,
patient
rip.
one.
Yeah.
I have to like skirt around and go in the other room when
It's-
she comes in. You know, like
Yeah, it's over.
it's toxic.
You'll never escape it.
No.
Yeah, I usually come back with my throat pretty wrecked from yelling rather than from getting sick, just from having to, make myself
Yeah.
heard over all the drunk people at all the crowded gatherings and whatnot.
Mm.
So, but I didn't do as much of that at this event. Just spent more time hiding in my hotel room like a cranky old man, grumbling on, Facebook about these kids and their newfangled Twitters and stuff.
That sounds perfect.
So, yeah, it was great. It was great. Everyone else is like, man, it's 5 a.m. and I'm hungover and I'm just like in bed at midnight. And I'm just like,
Snuggled up.
this is the life.
Sitting in a rocking
So-
chair with a blanket over your knees.
Yep.
God, it's
I
That
was
is the
knitting
best
I was
way.
knitting a quilt while everyone else was out partying. Yeah, but yeah, no, I think I'm good this year. I don't think I caught anything. When I came back, my throat was a little raw, but it's already feeling better now. I just took some cough drops and that was that.
Nice. I have a mild headache from some sort of strange sinus infection thing, but I am medded up. The moment the meds wear off, the episode ends. That's how this is going to run today. It could be half an hour. It could be 10 hours. It doesn't matter. If I've got this forever, we never stop. That's the rules. If the pain doesn't come back, we never stop playing. So, a couple weeks ago, might as well jump into it. A couple weeks ago, God damn, it was like a month ago. We started. This is bad. We started with the mystery of Abigaila Stonetooth. You guys came to the town of Lost Stone and discovered that it was an interesting, strange little town. You're unable to cast magic. Incorrect. You're unable to cast magic without it being punished, is a better way to put it. You've actually successfully
Unless
not
you are.
done that yet, which is pretty impressive. I'm impressed with you guys that you haven't turned yourselves into a frog or something. But other than that, the town is controlled by a sort of mercenary guild that seem a little suspect, not necessarily on the right side of the law, known as the Carved Men. And though you've done a few bits and bobs around town, for the most part, you've been investigating the murder of a woman known as Abigaila Stonetooth, who is the deceased wife of the head of the Carved Men, a gentleman known simply as Stonetooth. So, in your investigation, while it is, I'll just catch you guys up with the notes of the investigation that I've got them written down as, and we'll just jump in from there, as opposed to trying to like go over all the little bits and bobs, because it was quite a lot of stuff. It's been a lot of town episodes where you've just been kind of going around and investigating things. But important notes would be that, let's see, 2 nights ago, so it would be 3 nights ago, this woman, Abigaila Stonetooth, was found dead in her bed. She was seemingly stabbed 6 times with a dagger or something small, like a shiv. The bedroom window was unlocked from the inside. There were grapple marks on the outside. One of the members of the Carved Men, known as Young Crummel, who was a halfling gunslinger, saw a large shady figure in a black robe skulking about outside around the same time. There was a roguish dwarf known as Toval Bones, who believed it was Ritzel Solden, who was a knight of the Chancellor's Guard. He was convinced they were having an affair. You guys interrogated Ritzel Solden by throwing him into a cabinet and dragging him outside the bounds of town. and then
Like
interrogating
you
him
do?
from inside
Definitely
a cabinet.
necessary.
Which was absolutely necessary. You kind of revealed that he was secretly just friends with Abigaila. You discovered a bunch of cats in a tower known as the Old Lookout, and it seems that he's also the person who cares for those cats. The killer was revealed by divination to be walking from the drawing room into the ballroom of the Housestone Manor at precisely 4 p.m. today, when we jump back into it. The jewels that belonged to Abigaila were found inside of a homeless hovel, kind of abandoned house, hidden under a bunch of pots and pans. It looks like they were placed there as opposed to taken by these homeless people, or they were paid off, or they were involved directly in any way. And as far as I'm aware, and I can remember, the group's plan is to have Lash speak to Ritzel in order to sneak them into the manor at around 4 p.m. to see precisely who it is that crosses over that threshold from the drawing room into the ballroom as the clock tolls 4. Do you have a clock? Nope. Let's begin.
God damn.
Luckily, you have a Sandwalker who always knows the time. It's a special move known as Zephyr Strike, which can do anything it wants to do anytime.
You feel I am limited by spell slots. You understand this, right?
Zephyr Clock.
Zephyr clock.
I can't remember exactly where you guys were. Do you remember where you were? Because I think we just pick up from the. We're gonna have to pick up from the moment. I think you guys ended the
Carved Men?
episode at the Carved Men. I was going to say.
Was
I
it?
think you guys went from the sort of homeless home to the Carved Men hideout with the intention of kind of sitting around waiting until around 4 p.m. So if we want to fast forward through the day, we can say that you guys have sat around, maybe had some lunch and some food. You've seen a couple of different mercenaries come and go. The elven barmaid here in this kind of low roofed, sort of dimly lit tavern-ish, part tavern, will have provided you with like a decent lunch again on house. So no doubt you would have had a basic lunch, nothing amazing. They don't have great food here. It's still it's not exactly the Ritz. You can have had a decent lunch and then maybe sat around letting the time pass. We can say that it's approaching 4, half 3 in the afternoon. The sun beating down on the small town of Lost Stone. Clear day. Town's in full swing around you. For for the most part, the mercenaries have come and gone, out doing whatever business it is that they get up to daily. And you guys are sat around, a couple of empty plates in front of you, a couple of empty mugs and tankards. The familiar faces of Toval Bones, the roguish dwarf, sat in the corner tending to himself, and young Crummel, the halfling gunslinger, kind of cleaning a pistol in one corner, and then the elven barmaid, the only people in here with you, and then you guys probably sat around a central table. What do you guys want to do?
I'm just looking through the scrolls that we got the other day on the
Trying to stay as far away from the case as possible.
So
What time is it?
We'll say 3:23 in the afternoon.
Guys, it's 3:23 in the afternoon.
You guys are able for the you're
I
able
hold
for
up-
1 hour to tell the time exactly.
I hold up a
on-
carefully crafted clock made from like it's a bowl of water with a needle inside that's been magnetized to make a leaf point north with like little notches cut in it, like a sundial. So I just hold that up and I'm like, guys, it's 3:23.
exactly what I
3:23.
said.
We're running out of time.
You just made a compass. That's not a clock. That's
It's a clock for today.
No, it points north, but then I cut these etches in the side. It's a sundial. It's a clock.
Sundial.
So
I thought he
hold-
just Zephyr striked
we're
around the
inside.
world.
You know that, right? There's no sun inside here.
There's sun coming right through the window here.
Well, I
A
thought it was
perfect
a window
shaft
like
of
Murky.
light. There's a perfect shaft of light coming through the window and hitting the sundial.
You look out the window and there's Arden.
There is full divine intervention for you guys to know the time for the next 40 minutes.
Brad's like trying to give it to us, and we keep.
Get on with the murder.
I just want you to beat this fucking
Yeah,
mission
would you
quest.
guys solve this, please?
I have 5 weeks of sessions planned, and you guys are stuck on this one side quest.
So I hold something up too, and it is my ring of invisibility. And I say, guys, what if I use this? And I sneak in there, and then I wait, and I'll see the person, and then I'll come out, and then we'll know, and then we can strike later.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to take Raja's sundial compass thing with you to know the time.
We can
No.
just send her in there 2 or 3 minutes in advance. It can't be that hard.
I have 10 minutes. We can do this.
I
My
thought
only
we were gonna go get the captain and see if he could help.
That's still an option.
I
My only concern is that we don't know that the culprit will be the only person walking between. So what if we go there and there's a crowd of people? We won't be able to pick him out of a crowd.
well, process of elimination.
Hadn't
can-
thought of
You
Not
want
gonna kill 'em all.
you want me to eliminate all of them?
I mean, we
No,
could.
no, you eliminate each. Not.
I'm not going to
actually
murder
eliminate-
them all,
You
Walter.
don't kill them. You knock
I
them
kill
off the
zombies,
list.
not people.
Okay, never mind.
Boy, I guess.
I can't believe you even suggested that. He just kind of turns to Carlisle. Walter's losing his head. I don't know. I don't know. I guess we could try to disguise one of us, probably Walter, and then send Lash in as a backup. Have 2 people in there with eyes and ears, and the rest of us could wait outside.
I mean, Arden can make him look pretty and all.
Now, do the woman thing again.
Yeah, but then do we need a way to get into the palace? Can we just walk in?
I don't know. Do we need an appointment? I'm not
That
from
may
this
be
town.
where
Am
we
I
need the
supposed
captain.
to be seen by the captain again? We kidnapped him last.
Turn him into a
Well,
different
you
woman this time.
didn't. You were the.
I don't know
victim.
about that. If he has 2 women walk up to him in 2 days, like,
Yeah, but don't hit on him or flirt with him. Just say I have an appointment and try to walk in. And worst case scenario, we can just have Lash walk in, or we could get his assistance. You know, he did say he was friends with her. Maybe he would help us out.
Well, that was the plan, was to talk to him and get him.
and since he didn't
Yeah.
see Lash, Lash would be the perfect one to walk up to him and get him to come over.
But if she can get in with the invisibility ring, then we don't need him.
Or I
But
could
no,
lend
but
it
that
to
would
one
just-
of you guys. And I kind of look down at my ring, like. I
How
don't
many
want
minutes
to,
left?
but I-
We all know you don't want to, Lash. It's fine. Far be it from me to take one of your shiny things. Besides, if we just send her in there alone, that's what if something goes wrong?
What if we dress you up? I'm useless, anyways.
Me?
Yeah. Arden, can you do it?
Of course.
I don't know how well I'd be able to pass myself off as a noble, even
Try
a
and
male
sound like a
noble.
lady.
Try and sound like a lady.
Try. I mean, Arden can dress you up all fancy like. And
Yeah, see if you can do a voice as good as mine.
Yeah. Hi. Will that work?
Give me a performance check.
first roll of the day.
Oh.
Pretty good. You know, it's some good voice acting right there. A rarity.
Carlisle is taking a drink, and as he talks,
That
well,
I
Yeah,
feel like that was.
that'll work.
And
I feel like that was beginner's luck, though. I feel like I wouldn't last too. You understand? I spent half my life living in the desert, eating cactus and roaches. I won't be able to pass as a noble, let alone a female noble.
I'm gonna like reach over and like pull the scarf, like and be like, now you're a mysterious noblewoman.
Hey, you
Just
could be a
don't
belly
talk.
dancer or
Yeah.
something.
Just
Why
say you
does he
speak a
have to be a
foreign
woman?
language.
Can't he be a nobleman? Does he have
Yeah,
to be?
yeah, this is true. It doesn't have to be a woman. I don't know where that even came from.
Well, it was before to seduce the guy, but I guess if
Right, but we're not seducing him. It turned me
Aren't the
into a.
guards after us as well, though. Are we trying to lay low?
we don't need the guards after us.
The only way people find me is the bright red. If I ditch this, no one knows who I am.
GM Bradley WOTO, can I roll an intelligence check? Or like would we know if they're like how do we get into the manor? Is it invite? Are there guards that'll stop you if you walk in? Because this is something we haven't addressed.
This
well,
this does seem like kind of a general knowledge of the world type question.
You've been around the town enough as well to know that the manor itself is kind of is like this big extravagant building in the center of town, and it's got a like it's the only building with any level of fortification around it. It does have a stone wall around the entire grounds. It wouldn't necessarily be difficult for you to climb, but in the middle of the day, you'd almost definitely be spotted because it is a central position in the middle of the town, and there's just people coming and going all the time. There's general guards that move around, and then there are the Chancellor's personal guards, which are more like knights. There's a big courtyard at the front of it, and then there's the building at the back. There's a single main entranceway and an opening at the front of the building, or of the wall, which is where you met Ritzel before and spoke to him.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just guarded 24/7.
Okay.
There doesn't appear to be any other way in. Not obviously.
And if we were to go through here, that we would get stopped. Like we can't just waltz in.
No, yeah, you would definitely be stopped.
Okay. Yeah.
But a nobleman could demand a visit.
But then we'd have to make a lie about the nobleman.
We can make lies. Let's
I
make
mean,
one.
we do have.
Carlias.
What's his face?
Callias, you're talented with faking signatures and stuff. Write
I
me
don't
up.
need to fake anything. I already have that one dude from the train.
LaFrance.
Yeah, I have his papers right here.
You can be
Excellent.
William
Wait.
LaFrance.
Forge me an invitation. I know enough about Sin River that I can probably.
I'd have to see an actual invitation. I don't know what.
And we don't have
What it
enough
would look
time
like.
either.
Well, just say you lost your invitation, and that's who you are, William LaFrance.
And the train did just come in, right? I think it came in yesterday.
No. there's
No, it
train.
hasn't. Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
that was a hallucination from Lash.
All right.
Lash had a hallucination.
Yeah, never mind. My bad.
All right. Here's the plan. I think I've got it. I'll go in undercover as this LaFrance guy. Or maybe you should do it, Walter. I don't know. You're better at faking your way.
You've been to Sin River. You can act like you're a nobleman from Sin River.
But
Plus, you know the guy, Raja.
And I'm gonna like pull out my dagger and the crossbow and be like, this is all I have.
And I'll say, Raja, here. And I'm going to hand him my ring. If you get into trouble.
No. You come in with me. Here's the plan. I go in undercover with you, invisible with me. The rest of you maybe try to see if the guard out front can help and smuggle you in. That way, if you guys get turned down, at least me and Lash are inside. If I get kicked out or discovered, well, then maybe you guys will have more luck than I did. At least it gives us more than one angle to try.
Raja,
Yes?
I need one thing from you. I just point to your red scarf.
Oh. Yeah. Here,
Thank you.
take it.
Here's the papers. Now, I don't remember the guy's wife's name, the old lady. You may want to try and...
You mean
art
the
knows?
person whose death we're investigating, or you mean LaFrance's wife?
LaFrancis.
Oh.
Hold on, I actually have it written in my journal, literally.
I had it written.
You have the deed to the LaFrance.
Madalena LaFrance, what's her name?
Madalena, that's
You have the deed to the LaFrance land, right? Is that what you have, or you have his pedigree of
Pedigree ID.
Okay, all right, never mind then. Okay, yeah. So you just have that. It's just the same. Like people usually have a ring or a writ of pedigree to essentially prove that they are noble.
That's what
And
we got
you,
was the writ.
You have the Wilfred LaFrance writ of pedigree to prove that he is noble.
Hey, you guys don't think they lock the doors, do you? Because what if I need to be in there longer than 10 minutes and then I'm not? Oh.
You're really good at hiding even when you're not invisible.
And I'm sure there's a few windows open around.
Okay.
And worst case scenario, you can just pretend you're lost.
And honestly, once you're inside, it's not like they're going to walk around checking everyone who's already been admitted.
Although we may want to dress her up just in case.
Yeah, Arden, can you give me a pretty dress?
I'm gonna look at the sundial clock.
Yeah.
How many minutes have passed?
It is 3:39.
Oh shit.
Okay, make it quick then. Let's do this.
A pretty black one
Uh-oh.
Zarden got to sew you an entire dress in
with a feather
20 minutes.
stole.
Oh no.
Probably just. Is there a place nearby I can just swipe one?
Is there a tablecloth?
Yeah.
Can we
Does
just take the
the
tablecloth?
barmaid have one?
The barmaid is wearing a pretty black dress today,
Oh.
but she is like 3 times the
Oh,
size.
she's
of
way
Flash.
bigger.
Do we have a bunch of just like clips? Just clip it all in the back. Put a cape on her.
Hem it.
Raz's
Um,
shamag thing is probably big enough to be a dress on her.
I'll
It
just,
hangs down to his waist.
I'll see what I can do.
I
Oh,
could
yeah,
ask
she
the
can wear
barmaid,
that.
can we have the bottom part of your dress, ma'am?
I'm sorry, you what?
Like the whole
Sorry,
bottom part of your...
She's kidding.
Why?
Because it's really pretty. No,
It
I
is
don't-
pretty, but if I rip off the bottom of it, it ain't gonna be pretty no more, is it?
Well, I can take care of that for you. I mean, a little more leg always helps, right?
It does.
So
yeah, that's
what
a
if?
point.
And I hear frills are in nowadays, so maybe I could take it up a little bit, give you some frills, maybe some sequins.
Give me a persuasion or a deception check.
Oh no.
I'll take one or the other.
As well, if he was higher up, you may get more tips and such.
She's gonna need to roll her own dice for that one. My first roll after 2 weeks, 1. Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Let's do that then.
All right, so if I think I can put it together fast enough, we'll do that.
She like grabs you by the hand and then just drags you to that storeroom with all the weaponry stuff and stores and food and drink and stuff in. And
Just comes back 30 minutes later. Wait, what are we doing?
How does he
Whoops.
how does he do that?
she pulls you into
I don't know. He
the
must be
thing,
just
closes the
powerful.
door.
Need me to roll anything?
What are you doing? You're creating a dress?
I'm gonna see if I think I can do it in 11 minutes or whatever the hell we have. 21 minutes.
I guess you'll have to create. I guess you give me a disguise kit roll, but with disadvantage for the speed at which you have to do it. Still pretty fucking good. There's like 3 minutes go by. and then
Big tank top.
and then the elven barmaid comes out, and she's just got this like hemmed bottom short dress that comes like it's way too high above the knee, but she kind of like struts out. There's a few frills around it, and she like walks over to the table like, "What do you think? Does it look good?"
Oh wow! You'll get way
Stunning.
more tips.
Oh, thanks very much. He's pretty good at the dressmaking, I think.
Do I have to roll deception if I say it looks amazing?
No, she's already rolled her 1 for the day. She heads back over to the bar, but she kind of does it with a flourish.
Paralyzes jaws just like drop like.
5 more minutes.
Come over here.
Go by. Presumably while Lash, you have Arden create you a dress.
Right. So with Arden's help, my plan for the dress would be, let's say we have like a couple of yards of black fabric. I have some black underclothes. It'll be a shoulderless dress that it'll be split in the front because that's the piece of fabric we have and we don't have time to sew it. And I will cinch it under my boobs, like around my waist, so that my underclothes will show at the lower part of it, but they're black, so you won't really notice. So it's a split front dress, but cinched at the waist. So my underclothes show a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom, and hopefully just the fabric is fancy.
Project Runway shit going on right now.
All the artists in the chat here, so.
So Arden, you make a close approximation to that. I would say it's not like dead on perfect on a 14, but it's definitely good enough. The fabric that you're using is pretty nice. The barmaid's dress was pretty nicely crafted in the first place. Fabric's probably like a fine satin or something. So it does have a shimmer to it, and it does look nice. Under super close inspection, you'd see that this thing has been like hastily cobbled together out of the bottom of someone else's dress. But it fits you pretty well, and he crafts it within 8 minutes.
Nice. Okay.
I can't remember what that makes the time, but it's pretty close to the time you need to be leaving.
Plus 5 plus 8, so 39 plus 13 is 49 plus 3 is 52.
Jesus. All right.
We gotta go.
I love that.
3:52. Lash steps out in her brand new dress.
Ta-da!
We'll let them know that at 4 he'll be walking out of the drawing room into dancing. So look for the person before that in the drawing room leaving.
Paralyzed is
In the
like
drawing
pushing
room
everyone out the door, just like we gotta go.
Wait, what's the drawing
Go,
room though?
go.
As we're
I
walking,
don't know.
did they just draw in
Well,
there, or did they get
it's like a
drawn in
parlor.
there? Or...
It's a no. We don't have time to explain.
Also, you still haven't disguised me. I look like a desert rat. And Rasha's like, he's covered. Well, actually, no, he did. He's not as filthy because we actually took a bath like the
clean
first
up.
night we got in town. But even with that, it's still like beat up, dusty armor with like cut marks and scratches and stuff up and down. And he just has oily black hair that's like completely uncombed and unkempt in any
wait,
way
wait,
whatsoever.
wait,
no,
noble clothes.
It's fine.
One of you has a set of noble
I'm gonna
clothes.
send,
I remember.
I'm gonna give you a set of fine clothing that I have. It should fit a human or half elf of my size, and you're, I think, my size. So.
Okay, I'll just like I'll
it's-
start putting it on as we run.
Yeah, like running down the road, dropping clothing
Is it
items behind him.
groom
putting
late
them
to
like-
his
hopping
wedding
along,
style
trying to get
of,
a
like
leg in.
run?
Yeah. All right, so you're running up to the entrance of the manor way, yeah?
Yeah.
You're not like busting in through like a
Thing.
climbing the thing and hiding.
Correct.
Yeah, jumping through a window.
If I'm gonna do the Project Runway thing as well. So as we're walking, I'm just doing Raja's hair and stuff, trying to help him out a little bit more. Just want him to be like he's gonna be like this just nice celebrity, and everybody's around him just.
Oh, it'll work. It'll work.
Listen, you understand no one's going to believe I'm a noble, right?
Well, if
Well,
you
you
look
know
why?
like one, they'll believe you.
My charisma is 0. I mean,
Just Google big
What about your
words.
charisma?
Well, look, you're just the silent type. Just don't say much.
I mean,
There's,
I could talk for you.
I mean, fair enough.
Like
At
one
least
of your protege,
At least
servants.
every time I ever saw LeChance in town, he usually either had someone doing the talking for him, or he just had this like stern stare. So maybe I could mimic that.
Carlias has the headscarf just wrapped around his face, just like 2 little beady eyes poking through.
Raja, if
I could talk for you if you want. Not gonna be able to see my face.
Whatever. No. You stick to the plan. You guys talk to the guard. Try to get in your own way, and I'm just going to bluff my way, and this will definitely work. And I just walk up to the front door.
So
Yeah,
I've been
you're next to him, right?
I've been walking behind him because I'm short and I'm hoping not to be seen, so I can put my ring on at the last moment. So when we get within reasonable viewing distance, like they could easily see us approaching, I'll slip the ring on, whatever time it is.
So the ring lasts 10 minutes, remember?
Yep.
I'd say like as you guys approach the manor entrance way, it's not really the entrance to the manor, it's the entrance to the grounds. It's the same slight incline that leads up to a hill. There's 2 guards, and they appear to be entertaining a small group of people that are just passing through. They're checking writs or invitations or speaking briefly to all of these various individuals. Most of them are dressed relatively well, but they're not in like full ball gowns, like preparing for a ball at 4 p.m. They're just they just look to be noble, though not necessarily as if they're approaching for a big do. As you guys head up, Lash suddenly just disappears. I'd say there is like there's
Also,
three-
I'm guessing I
three-
can't take my giant Tulwar.
Yeah, I assume you're unarmed
Yeah,
right now.
I'm gonna unload all of my stuff onto Carlias, I guess. Except, I will keep the ever smoking bottle because it looks like it's just my flask. So I figure they're not gonna look into my water bottle. And I'm gonna keep my gun, except I'll have it like tucked on the inside of my leg, down near my ankle or something.
There's a couple of people ahead of you, and you jump onto the end of the sort of small queue, checking your device that you've now craftily added to your wrist for the time, discreetly revealing that you have still a few minutes. Once the couple of people ahead of you head inside, the 2 guards look towards you. One of them is the orc that you recognize.
I'm not gonna wait. Like I'm gonna if the guards are already like talking with the group when we arrive, then I'm just walking around them like I own the place, just with a confident I belong in here kind of a stride. So I don't know if they will stop what they're doing to try and confront me. Yeah, I'm doing the I'm rich and I own the place walk right past them.
Yeah, give me a performance check.
Does it have to be charisma?
Roll high. You sort of do it, and you kind of like saunter up
Vince
and try and look.
I'm doing the Vince McMahon
noble.
walk as I try to walk inside.
It just looked like, in your head it doesn't, but it does look like the Vince McMahon walk. And immediately, as soon as you try it, the very large armored orc with a huge greatsword on his back immediately turns to you and says, excuse me.
What is it?
We need to check you first. Your
of course.
Sire is. Are you here for the ball? the practice, the ball practice.
Yes, rehearsal. And I'm also supposed to meet a architect by the name of Agromnir, a dwarf, regarding a new aqueduct. Not here, this is for a different town, but since we're here in the same town, I need to talk to him in the drawing room at some point here. And I'm gonna, like, while I'm throwing all this stuff at him, I'm also, like, handing him the writ.
He looks particularly confused. Although his body is huge, his head is tiny. It's really small. He looks like you remember that old Mario film? When the Koopa guy...
Yes. Yeah, the big Koopa bodyguards with the tiny little heads. Yeah.
He looks like one of them, but green. He looks over your writ and let's see here. This isn't a forgery, is it? Actually, this is just legit.
No, this is the actual real one. So,
so yeah, he looks it over, gives you a look as well, and then hands it back and says, "Mr. LaFrance, welcome. Yes, the drawing room is the big room. What you'll walk in first."
Excellent, thank you. And I'll just dismiss him and walk inside. Like I have better things to do.
Yeah, he looks like he's about to say more. Oh yeah, and he turns to the next person. So you head in, presumably Lash. I'm just going to assume that you're
scurrying to keep up with him.
We can invisible see you.
Yeah.
Walking along.
He has a longer
nearby.
stride than I do, so when we get out of earshot of them, I would say, "Nice job."
I don't even know what an aqueduct is. I just heard it. I heard it mentioned once. I think it moves water.
Luckily, neither does the orc. The orc of the two was the one that rolled a crit 20, by the way, to spot you, perception you. The other one was the particularly nosy halfling. So you didn't. So you guys head into this kind of courtyard area. There's a handful of people that look like they're here for the ball rehearsal, which appears to be happening today. But there's also several men at arms that are training. These sort of gleaming knights in armor. They look as if they're from some lush off-continent castle, as opposed to sort of the more rugged aesthetic of Dustvale. But you guys have noticed previously that their armor, when you look at it closely, it's polished, but it's not very new. Maybe this is more for show. As you guys walk past them and join the couple of people that are filtering into the manor's opening, ahead of you there is this manor. It's quite impressive in size, considering most of Dustvale is littered with these much smaller wooden buildings. Sin River had a couple of large stone structures. There are a couple of temples like the one in Shallow Scar, and this has its own strange architectural design, very out of place among the rest of the town, with like these slate roofs, large ornate windows. There are several entrances, though the main entrance is very obvious, up a set of polished stone stairs, and into this very open, clear, instant drawing room area. And there's a lot more people in there milling about, just kind of talking to each other. It does look a little like it's a kind of party almost. It's like you're kind of approaching a party atmosphere. People are kind of drinking and eating and speaking to one another, but all of them are in like fine clothes. And you don't really look too different to them, I would say, Raja. If you're in fine clothes, these people aren't the kings and queens of the world. They're just general nobles, and you kind of probably would fit in with that aesthetic pretty easily.
Right.
Approaching up to this very large main entrance. Assuming you just walk straight in.
I'm walking in, but since we have fairly limited time, I'm just immediately trying to survey where the drawing room and the ballroom are. And
yeah,
then,
give me perception or an investigation check, whichever one you want to go with. You can do it as well, Lash.
Just as a heads up, we're lagging
Feelings
a
in.
slight bit. All right, we're good.
Welcome back. The guys are just walking up to the drawing room. So, Raja, you head in through this sort of low arched doorway that opens to an impressive great
We're not live.
opening.
Yeah, we are.
Still not live?
No. We're
you're
live.
locally recording it too, right?
Yeah, we're live right now.
We're live. Willow. There's a delay, Connor. Don't worry. It's just Twitch 101. It's
Sorry,
basic
guys.
Yeah,
stuff.
I still see you online. I never saw the
I'm-
stream go down.
I'm looking into
Yeah,
internet
explain.
that's like 100 to upload, so hopefully we'll have that next week.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, we're good. We're good. I can see it too. Yeah. So you guys head in through these big ornate doors. Ahead of you, you see this room, which is definitely the drawing room. It's the room that's designed to greet guests. Though it's very large, you would probably immediately ascertain that this is what this room is. Looking either side, and at the various doorways that lead out of the drawing room, there are two sets of stairways, pretty large, that seem like they're leading up to a second level. Nobody seems to be going up and down them. Everybody's milling around in one main area. There's another room that seems to lead off into an area, and as you step through, you can see that it's kind of a very small, maybe like church, or an area for prayer, designed for prayer, where maybe lots of the nobility come and pray, as opposed to sticking with the riffraff in that big dwarven temple that's in town. It seems to be a very small altar. On the other side, there's an impressive and large ballroom. It's pretty obviously a ballroom, I would say. There are these huge, expensive-looking paintings that punctuate the walls all the way down to the far end. Chandeliers and lanterns that hang about, though they're not lit right now. You'd imagine it would create quite an atmosphere. And then just an enormous marble polished floor with all these ornate works of art painted into it, and then a huge lattice work of woodwork across the ceiling. Almost definitely the room as you walk in on your right is the ballroom. A room on your left would be the altar. Each of those rooms themselves seem to lead off to other rooms, but that's kind of irrelevant right now. And then there are some stairs that lead upwards. There are a handful of people milling about. There's a very large group of people that are gathered on your right-hand side in front of that room. There's no one in the ballroom, though you do hear some music coming from in there, suggesting there might be a bard or two in there prepared. But as you walk in, there's a very large individual who stands out amongst the rest of these people. Your general knowledge of the area would probably immediately reveal to you that this is Chancellor Silric himself, who's a big dragonborn, green-scaled. He sort of stands tall among the rest of the people, and he's entertaining people as they walk in, shaking hands with people and speaking to them. But as you guys step in, he says, "Okay, it's time to head into the ballroom. Now, remember, when the other chancellors are here in a couple of months, we won't be standing here, we'll already be prepared. So you'll have to take your positions without my instruction. It's very important. And of course, I'll be heading in first." As the clock strikes 4, the Chancellor steps over the threshold, followed by a full group of people, maybe 18, 19 people. And a set of knights are all standing about as well, and they step through into the ballroom as well. And you can hear the Chancellor continuing his sort of speech. "My father held many balls here, and it was very important to him and very important to me that we keep up appearances," he says as he steps into the ballroom. Most of the people in this drawing room area are now filtering through into that area, though a couple of knights stand about. They're not really ogling you or eyeing you up or anything like that. They don't seem to be aware of Lash at all. What do you guys want to do?
I'll follow them in, I guess, but I'm also gonna. I guess I don't know exactly where Lash is because she's invisible. I don't know if I can like try to perception to kind of figure it out roughly where she's standing, like listen for her breathing or something like that.
Are you doing anything particularly obvious, Lash?
Not doing anything super obvious. When we walked in, my perception, I think, allowed me to figure out pretty quickly where the ballroom was, so I would have headed for that probably as the speech was going on. So I think I was actually probably just over the threshold in the ballroom when the Chancellor stepped through.
Right, yeah, so you've watched him take his steps, and he's a very big, broad-shouldered dragonborn. He looks pretty old. You're closer to him probably than Raja was as he stepped through originally. He looks pretty old for a dragonborn. His sunken eyes betray his late age. Although he does look to be in pretty good shape, he's got a kind of muscular structure to his body that is not necessarily like most dragonborn are quite muscular anyway, but it also reveals that maybe he's like an aged warrior or something like that. He wears a very casual burgundy robe over a set of very fine clothes, probably much finer than everybody else in the room at first glance. But he seems to be pretty happy. He's stern and speaking very seriously about what he's doing, but he's doing it kind of jovially as if he's very relaxed. On one hip, he does have a very expensive looking two-handed longsword that he wears very comfortably and just walks around the room. Nobody else of the guests is armored at all. But there are, again, a couple of these personal guard knight types. Raja, you step through as well, I assume, and you'll probably see this now. Yeah, what was you going to say?
Of the 18 or so people that walked through after he stepped over the threshold, is there anybody with my thieves' eyes that would have looked a little bit out of place here or that I might have noticed?
Give me a perception check or an investigation check. You can do either. This is still part of your investigation. Yeah, so you look over all of these people to try and see anybody else that might match the description. Since everybody kind of shuffled in over around the same time, there are two individuals who are large humans. One noble who has very, very dark skin. Looks like he's not necessarily from Dustvale, somewhere else in the world. He's wearing very strange, exotic clothes and seems a little out of place and seems to feel a little out of place. He looks a little uncomfortable to your eye as he steps over the threshold. He kind of, when people speak to him, he seems to kind of react a little oddly. And he's very tall. Not as thickly built as the Chancellor, but he's probably one of the taller people in the room, standing over 6 foot somewhere. And then there's a second human who looks a lot like, dressed similarly to Arden, probably, in his casual attire as opposed to his armor. He looks very clerical in stature and very old. But he's very rotund. He's quite tall, but he's also kind of thickly set and thickly built, like he spent his whole life eating nothing but meat and cakes, and then sitting and praying. He's almost definitely the cleric, or maybe the person who tends to the altar in the other room. The rest of the people are men and women of much smaller stature, a couple of dwarves, a couple of halflings, and a couple of humans who are much smaller, men and women. 3 people are large.
Yeah. So having taken note of that, I would sort of beeline over to Raja, because I would be thinking at this point, our target now is probably a large figure because we heard about the large, cloaked figure. So I'll happen over to Raja wherever I end up meeting you. Whereabouts are you?
Yeah, well, Raja's probably like bringing up the rear, trying to avoid attention, like one of the last people in. But as you get there, you see he's like he just said something to no one.
To no one. I tug on his.
As you're approaching, but you're still like 20 feet away, you see him turn and whisper to where he probably thinks you are still standing. As he looks down and says, "This is what I was worried about. There's too many people crossing the threshold at the same time."
So I'll wander up and tug on his sleeve and say,
on the other side. Oh.
Raja, what? I think take a look at that guy, and I point to the guy who looks foreign and exotic and dark.
I don't see your finger. I don't see your finger.
So
We'll call
we
him
be heard,
exotic
like-
nobleman.
I wonder if I can be heard by other people. I'm gonna try and drag you away.
The ballroom itself is pretty damn large. As you step in through the doorway, on the left there's like a stage almost that's been built up, and on it are two elven bards. One of them playing flute, one of them playing a lute.
Oh right, there's music happening. Nice.
And they're strumming, sort of like a casual entrancey thing. It's not like a Irish jig, and it's not like people like clashing drinks, but most people are kind of like mumbling and speaking to each other. And there's also the booming voice of Chancellor Silric himself, who takes a position up by the bards and then starts to instruct people and says, yes, make sure that you stand further on the left. You want to make sure that our esteemed guests take center stage of the ballroom. And he's sort of just kind of speaking to a lot of people. And yeah, I'd say you're probably pretty good at you're pretty good with just being quiet.
Whispering.
Yeah,
So I'll lean in. Raja, what time is it?
you lean in, which means you're about 4 feet tall. What is it?
What time is it?
It's 4:02.
Okay, I have a few minutes. Listen, the two large men standing together, the one who looks like a cleric and the other darker one.
The fat guy?
Well, anyway, those two, or Silric. He's really big.
Yeah, we know the person we're looking for has a large stature.
Yeah,
Brett,
and he
how?
walked through right at 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how exact was the clock dinging for as he walked in? Was it like he's mid-step, like across the threshold when it goes ding for the Chancellor, or no?
Give me an intelligence check.
Okay. Brad, why am I rolling an intelligence check to watch someone walk through a door?
Well, because you need to work out. You don't sort of really you haven't got a Rolex on.
Dude, there was a clock dinging for.
Yeah, somewhere in town there was a clock dinging for 4. Yeah, you'd say probably as the Chancellor stepped over, but everybody was pretty quick to follow him over the thing. So, depending on whether the trickster god was being dead on, I'm speaking in specifics or not, but it looked like, like he took his first step over that threshold, and somewhere the dwarven temple did a 4 chime ding.
Let me guess. It went ding, 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 like 4 times as the entire crowd walks over.
The person walks over. Yeah, depending on how superstitious you are, the Chancellor was definitely the first one over as the bells started tolling.
You would think that if there was a possibility of it being the Chancellor, that Stonetooth would have mentioned it to us.
Right, and why? I mean, what would be his motivation? It's not like, oh, unless he's trying to run Stonetooth out. But listen, listen.
Maybe she knew something.
Look at the one guy, the darker guy. He looks uncomfortable.
He looks like me.
Well, you're not supposed to be here either.
You want to give me an insight check on the exotic nobleman?
Sure. Gosh, I can't roll today. As soon as I need to stab something, it's going to be a 20. But prior to that, I can't roll.
3 7s from you.
He looks guilty.
Do I get like inspiration for rolling 777?
Yeah, can he do the Kate Sith limit break or something?
Yeah, if you do it against Emerald Weapon, you'll be really fucking sorted. But in this situation, no.
You
I
do
beat
have a
Emerald
tiny
Weapon
thief with you.
I beat Emerald Weapon without touching my controller. Like I started the fight and put it down.
Of course.
I don't doubt that.
I don't doubt it either.
I actually did. Like I actually did.
I
Use Zephyr Strike.
I believe you fully.
That just seems like standard fare.
Raja, you're pretty convinced that the exotic nobleman looks shifty and guilty as shit. He looks like he's guarding a dark secret. He's got the Macbeth bloody hands going on. Lash, you're pretty convinced the guy just looks the same as Raja, just really uncomfortable being here.
Okay. Can I check?
That guy's hiding something. Look.
But also Raj is doing like the same movements and shit.
I'm doing the exact same. Why am I in here?
Can I check Silric?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
I guess I'll do we roll for each of the 3 targets?
Yeah, you're free to. That's why you're here.
Nah.
You're
Okay,
doing
my
a Columbo
second
right
one
now.
there is for Silric.
My 9 is for the Chancellor. And
Everybody looks shady AF to Raja.
And then the 19 is for the chubby cleric.
Yeah. The Chancellor, to you, Lash, just looks like completely comfortable here. He doesn't look like he gives a shit. He does not believe that any of these people are anything other than things for him to just... You're supposed to be here and doing these things. You know, I am the Chancellor. He just looks like a posh, strong individual. He doesn't look nervous. He doesn't look uncomfortable. Doesn't look like he's hiding any secrets. He just looks like he's just doing his thing. This is what he does all day. To you, Raja, the Chancellor looks nervous as shit. Not quite as nervous as the exotic nobleman, but he looks like he might be hiding something, hiding a dark secret, perhaps.
Okay.
And then, do you want to give me another one as well, Lash? Oh, you did.
I just did. Yeah, sorry for the lag.
The
So that third for
the chubby cleric. He just looks hungry and bored, and just sick of doing these rehearsals every few weeks. And sick of being drafted in on doing it, and just looks like he's waiting to go back to whatever it is that he does during the day, which isn't probably standing around and dancing. That being said, the Chancellor does say, "Okay, everybody, pair up," and they start to pair up, and then we'll begin now with the opening piece, and the bards begin to play a different song, and then the people start to dance around a little bit. It's at this point that the Chancellor notices you, Raja.
Yeah, I was gonna say. At this point, as he says that, I'm gonna look for like an unaccompanied female nearby, or if there's no ladies, I'll grab a freaking dude just to avoid getting looked at. Is there anyone nearby that doesn't have a dance partner?
No, everybody has a dance partner because they're supposed to be here, and they're all in position and ready, and they all start doing their dance. And the Chancellor turns to you for a moment and says, "I'm sorry, I did not realize we had another guest. Are you here for the rehearsal? I do not recognize your face."
Yes, but unfortunately my wife was running a little bit late.
I am Chancellor Silric, and who might you be?
Wilfred LaFrance of Sin River.
Wilfred LaFrance. Madalena's husband.
Correct.
Yes, I do believe we met a very long time ago. Sin River, you own some land.
Beg your pardon?
You own land in Sin River.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. Yes, I was not expecting you. Was not informed by any of my people. He shoots a look over at one of the knights who just kind of does like silence. I'm sorry that I did not expect you here, especially not for this rehearsal with these ragtag group. Please, and he turns to the bards and says, "Keep playing, and you keep dancing." And he says, "If you would like, I can entertain you with some food and drink until this is finished." And
certainly, I'd hate to interrupt. I believe I probably stepped in here by accident. Regardless, I was on a trip up to Clear Peaks, and I was supposed to meet an architect here, but I figured I'd stop by and say hi and see how your affairs were going.
Give me a deception check.
Can I glance at Raja's wrist situation?
His wrist situation. What's his wrist situation? Oh, the clock.
Time. Yeah.
The clock is magically
I don't know why I looked at my wrist like I'm wearing a watch. They're not invented. Are there clocks mounted on the walls in here?
No. The watch device has fallen apart and melted on the ground.
I'm out.
How
I'm literally leaving right now.
The Chancellor looks at you quizzically for a little while, Raja. His eyes are a deep kind of sunken red. Seem to bore into you for a moment. In his imposing presence, he's much taller than you are. I can't remember how tall you are, but he's 6'8". I think he's 6'8". No, he's 7'2". He's 7'2". He's 68.
Holy
He's a tall guy.
He's very tall and he's large with it as well. He's almost Goliath, and you can see being this close to him that at one point he was probably just a beast of a warrior. And he looks at you for a long time and then says, yes, sir. Please do continue. Come with me, sir. I'll sit you down with some food. And takes you into a room that leads off from the ballroom, away from the drawing room.
Are we heading further away from the? Can I tell if he believed me or not? Can I like insight his insight? I don't know, like, because that sounded suspicious as all. What kind of roll? What kind of roll today?
He just seems to be kind of flustered about having an unexpected guest who's actually somebody of vague worth and note. That he just wasn't expecting you to just be there. And he leads you further through the ballroom, past some of the dancers, and then into a separate room, which is a very long room and there's more people in here as well.
Right.
There are 4 tables. Very long, ornate tables with all these lovely, wonderful, luxury-looking chairs. The tables are not set, and the room is very similar to the ballroom in that it has these ornate paintings and an enormous fireplace. There's also 3 entrances that open out into the courtyard itself. As you were walking through, you may have glanced over and seen that it leads into sort of a dining area. And he walks you into here and just kind of like pulls a chair for you at the closest table and says, please, sit here for a moment, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, I thank you. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and take him up on the offer and sit down.
He clicks his fingers and one of the serving boys comes over and looks and he says, get this man a drink and whichever food he likes that we have on offer. I believe we have some poultry. Would you be interested in some guinea fowl?
Sounds delightful.
And yes, a glass of wine. And the boy nods and runs off. He says, I have some business to attend. We run these rehearsals, of course. We have a ball every year for the chancellors, and we'll be entertaining it again this year in just a matter of months. So I like to practice and ensure that the ballroom is prepared and the musicians are ready.
Of course, do forgive me for walking in at the most inopportune moment.
I must say, I remember you being rather shorter the last time we met. You must have been working out, I assume.
It's a long story, but thanks to a train malfunction, I was coerced into walking through the desert for an extended period of time, and that opened my eyes to the need to get in shape and be able to fend for oneself instead of relying on servants and guards all the time. So yes, a lot has changed since we last met. I've I'll actually pull back the sleeve a little bit and just flex. I've actually taken to quite the strict exercise regimen.
Give me a deception check with advantage because it's kind of true. He's out there somewhere. Hey! Yeah, he's like listening to you and nodding, and he seems to relax a little more as you're speaking through what he says. And he says, yes, and you seem to have shaved off that ghastly mustache you had. Yes, it's coming back to me now, of course. Well, it's very good. A man must learn how to defend himself. Of course, I was once part of the... Go on.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say, not all of us are quite as fortunate. And I'm like, wait, is he? You said he's wearing armor or not?
No, he's not got any armor on. But he does have this really nice-looking longsword on one hip.
Okay, well, instead of tapping him on the gut, then I'll just kind of like tap him or like tap towards the handle of his sword and say, no, unfortunately, not quite all of us are blessed with your stature and, well, the means to defend oneself. So, we must make do.
I was very, very fortunate to be born into a noble family and placed into a position high up in the Dragoons, but that didn't mean I didn't learn how to use this. And he kind of pulls the sword out a little bit. It's very sharp looking and gleams in the sunlight and puts it back. I may be aging, but I can still use it, I assure you. Worst comes to worst, I can always bite them. He reveals his teeth. And he says, I will attend to you soon. I would like to learn of your regime, how you get into shape, and you've obviously spent some time in the desert like one of those ghastly sandwalkers and filthy peasants. Anyway, he turns and the serving boy heads over with a glass of wine and places it in front of you, and a moment later another serving girl comes out with a big meal of this just like full roast chicken, nice garnish of vegetables, side of very like fresh baked bread. This is like a good fucking meal. And the chancellor says, please excuse me, I'll be back very, very shortly. And he steps away and into the ballroom and begins to shout and bark orders from afar again. Lash, I assume your invisibility ran out.
So when they
during
were
that
talking,
conversation.
yeah, and I looked at Raja's wrist and noticed that this thing had kind of fallen apart. I would have taken at least what I knew to be the most expedient route out through those, out through the courtyard and out again.
Cool. I'm gonna see if anybody smells or hears or sees you with some very shit rolls. Nobody does. You, you kind of like do your thing and just your little halfling feet pitter patter back through the courtyard. As you're heading through, you might glance left and see Raja sitting at a table, the chancellor shooing off a serving boy while they're discussing something, and then you head out of the front gates where you see Arden, Carlias, and I was going to say Wilfred, but he's not
Otherwise occupied.
Walter outside and probably doing the same thing as they were doing last time when Walter was sent up, with their heads Scooby-Doo style around the closest building, kind of just waiting patiently, like a bead of sweat on each of their heads. Halfway over to where they are, you just appear in front of them again.
Hi.
Oh, in front of us? Oh.
Yeah, she just appears suddenly as you're just
probably like
all standing
immediately
around.
fall over, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi, Lash.
Hi to you too.
Hi. Raja's stuck.
What do you mean stuck? What happened?
Well, the chancellor, he just wanted to talk to him, and he just pulled him into another room, and I had to go because I didn't want to get both of us in trouble.
That's a bad sign.
So we have
What the
to go in
hell
and
would the
save him?
chancellor want to talk to him?
Yeah. I mean,
I just assumed the whole time we were back there in this alleyway just hiding, I'm just casting cantrips in front of Walter.
and I'm just like talking way too fast to make any sense, but you hear something like, maybe he'll just say he doesn't feel well and he has to go because he did say he had to meet a guy about an aqueduct.
Did you find the person though?
Well, so the thing is, at 4 o'clock, 20 people went across the threshold, Walter. 20, and
I look over at Walter and I'm like, we're not killing them all.
but there were three big ones.
Okay, so,
Well, that makes it more of a chance to find them.
okay, so did you narrow them down? The process of elimination?
Who are the big ones?
To 3 people.
Okay, but the 3, did you?
Describe them. Who?
Well, one is a really large, rotund cleric, and the other one's a foreigner with dark skin, and the other one is the chancellor.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
So we
I'm
have
not though.
to kill a chancellor?
No, I mean we don't know if it's him. Maybe it's good that Raja got waylaid and he can learn more. But
Wait, is Raja
he's
talking to
really
him?
Big. Yeah. To Chancellor Silric.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna walk over, head wrapped around, walk over to the guard.
The guards that are at the front of the manor.
The captain, wherever he is.
Oh, he's not there.
Oh, isn't he?
Ritzel isn't there right now, no.
Alright. Yeah, I'll walk over to the guard.
There's a big half-orc looking dude and a small halfling. As you approach, the halfling gives you kind of a filthy look. Eyes just narrowed at you because you look disgusting. And the half-orc just looks at you as you approach. Yeah?
Hey, I don't suppose you know who your captain is?
Which one?
What is his name? I forgot.
Ritzel.
Fritzel?
Ritzel, Jitzel? What do we agree on?
Ritzel?
It's Ritzel.
Fritz.
His name's Retzel.
Ritzel. Oh, Ritzel. He went out, had one too many last night, came back with a pop on the noggin. What an idiot. Said he, like, fell into a cupboard or something. I don't know.
Hey, I've done that in my life. I bet he was drinking too much shit kicker ale. That'll do it to you, lad.
Maybe. He can probably afford something a bit better than that slot, but yeah, well, he's inside. What do you want with him?
Need to have a conversation about building some stuff for him. I'm sure he's probably.
Yeah, well, he's on the clock. Mate,
what's the word? What's the word?
An aqueduct.
I'm RPing kind of.
Oh, it's something to do with water. Aqueduct.
Oh no, an aqueduct. Yeah, I learned about that just a minute ago.
That's the one, lad. That's the one.
Looks over to the halfling. Yeah, it's an aqueduct. Yeah, an aqueduct. You just told me about that. We had a fella come in talking about an aqueduct.
Oh, what was his name? What was that fellow's name? I am here to talk to another one.
Well, we can't give that information out, sir. That's private information.
Obviously. Oh God, what was it? La France.
Yeah, La France. I mean, I can't give that information out, so it's private information.
I mean, I'm sure he's here, right?
The
I was told I was going to meet him there as well.
Give me a persuasion check as the halfling nudges the half orc. I'm sorry, you're forgetful, isn't it? He says, "All right, I'll tell you what. You wait here. Don't fuck around. You can't come in today. They're doing a practicing. They're doing a dancing practicing today. So
I've done some in my time.
I'll go and get Captain Ritzel."
I look back over at the group and I just like hand signal behind me, just freaking the hell out.
The Team America one.
Are you
the halfling is just still standing there looking at you?
Like, no, I'm looking at him, but my hand's behind my back. And
I see.
I am taking that as time to walk in. Let's go.
The halfling is still there. There's still a guard there.
That's fine. Is there anybody else? Is the halfling engaged with Carlias?
The halfling is just standing silently, glaring at Carlias.
Okay, I'm gonna put the hood up, and I'm gonna try and.
Before he comes over, I'm just like,
so how's business?
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, I'm already committed. I'm gonna try and just walk into the walk through the gates.
The halfling says nothing. You give me a stealth check. This halfling just continues to stare at you.
With the head up as well, they have disadvantage to detect.
Oh, they do.
It's only on perception. Hold on. The cloak, that one.
Oh, I forgot about the cloak of elven kind.
Yeah. So that's. You want a stealth check?
Give me a stealth check with what is it? Yeah. Oh no, they have disadvantage.
Oh, I have advantage
he
on
also,
dexterity
yeah, he
checks.
also has advantage.
Oh, but that's to hide though. Are we taking that literally or?
How do you?
No, you're not really hiding. You're just sneaking past. Yeah, I mean, it's cool because you pull the cloak up, and the halfling is glaring at Carlias, and you just walk past. And you're in the grounds now. There's this courtyard. There's there is a bunch of people around though. Yeah, you see him.
Would I see him in my peripheral vision?
Yeah, you see him. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna distract the guard. I'm gonna distract.
So how's everyone? Obviously, dancers and
glares at you even more. Doesn't say a single thing.
Right, not on for confish. Right.
If anything, she's even more concentrated on you.
Listen, I'm not used to people staring at me last night. I mean, unless you want to go for a shit kicker or something.
Continues to glare at you hatefully. The rest of the courtyard though is filled with.
She's my favorite NPC now.
The courtyard is filled with several men at arms who are training though.
Can I just continue?
Cloak of elven kind.
Walking?
So I'm gonna roll a couple of disadvantages.
Just like casually strolling, hope.
One guard sees you as you're halfway through the courtyard and runs over towards where you are. What are you wearing? Your normal clothes?
Yeah, I think. Well, the cloak is green, I think, and then underneath is just normal clothes. I'd assume they're not too like sand beaten because we've been inside most of the time we've been here. So I'm hoping they look normalish.
Running up from behind you, you hear the voice of Captain Ritzel go, "Oh, milady, milady. Oh, very good to see you again. After everything that went wrong. Oh, wait, hang on a second." Turns you around. It's you, isn't it? You're not one of. You're one of them, aren't you?
One of who? What do you mean?
Yeah. What are you doing here? You're going to get me fired.
Carlias.
Who the fuck is Carlias?
He's a great guy. You should see him sometime.
Carlias Drex, that fucking heathen, that criminal.
Yeah, I saw him like 5 towns over. I wanted you to know. But anyways.
There's a horrible sickening dawning on this man's face as he realizes exactly who you are and who all of you are. And he steps back a moment and he's very confused and says, you can't be here. You can't, please.
What do you mean?
If you
What?
You
Hey, no, listen. There's something happening right now that you need to know about.
Oh,
We've
yes,
never
what?
met
You're
before in our
probably
lives.
Try and kill us all, aren't you?
What?
You've killed half the country as far as or something. What
are
you doing? What is happening? Oh no. I mean, what am I going to do? He starts to get a little dizzy.
I'm just gonna grab him by the arms, or like shoulder around. Okay, Ritzel, right? It's Ritzel.
The half-orc says from further away, "What's going on, Captain?" He said, "Yes, you go back to your post. Go back to your post. You come with me." And he drags you sideways.
Am
under
I
one
dragging
of the
him or is he
archways.
dragging me?
He's like half falling, half dragging you to like a darkened corner under one of the archways that run along either side of the manor next to the walls, and says, "All right, listen. I know who you are. I know who all of you are, and I think I've worked out precisely what's going on. It's a bloody assassination attempt, isn't it? That's
What?
why you're trying to blackmail me.
What?
You're
Can I at this point work out that there's no way to save myself from him knowing that it wasn't me last night, or can I insight exactly what he's speaking about?
You can give me an insight check.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fuck. What have I done? Brad's like, oh, you use this cloak?
This
well,
this
fuck
strikes
you.
me as one of those times you don't roll a die. That one's on you. See, I told you. I told you.
You were probably only as confused as you are in real life.
That's
You
really
don't
confused.
glean anything from him, but he just looks panicked.
I'm just, listen. What's your name? What is it?
Listen,
It's Ritzel.
I tell you,
Jitzel?
at least let me get out of town.
Yeah,
I'm not even from here. You must. I have no real allegiance to the Chancellor. I don't even like these people.
As long.
I'm just here as a post. I'm supposed to train under the Chancellor. He's a big shot dragoon.
Listen,
I
if you
don't
go to
wanna
Sin
die.
River, you'll be safe. Okay.
Sin River.
If you leave the second the train comes in and speak to nobody, you'll be safe.
Can't I go home?
Okay. Well, where's home? Here or is it?
Crimson City. My whole family are there.
Oh, we're not sure. We've heard some bad things.
Oh, what are you going to do?
Oh, it's not what we're gonna do. but
He's
it's
sick
more
in
like-
his mouth, and a little bit of it dribbles down his
It's-
through his hands.
Listen, it's
Okay,
It's
yes,
okay.
yes,
It's okay. It's okay.
please let me. If you,
Just get your family, and Sin River is the only.
I don't have any
safe
family.
place.
You silly
All right,
man.
well,
I'm
then-
young,
then all the
beautiful.
better.
I
You
don't
should
want
go
to
now.
die. Look, whatever's going on, just don't get my name dirtied in it, okay?
Of course, leave tonight.
You promise?
Yes.
Give me a deception or a persuasion check, depending on whether you're lying to him or telling the truth. He is fully sick down himself. Oh,
I have to go.
yeah.
You.
no, please.
I
You
have
don't
to go.
understand.
I'm leaving.
You don't understand.
I'm walking away. I'm walking out of the manor. This was a bad idea of turning around and leaving.
You hear retching and gasping from behind you as he puts a hand against the wall and just kind of pale face, stricken, looks around, sick down in front of his polished armor. He goes to like rattle at his sword and then thinks better of it. It kind of has a flashback to the previous evening. Stands there and just does like a few circles and then just puts his back against the wall. His armor scrapes down it and he just falls to the ground, having a full-blown
I am
panic
like
attack.
speed walking
When
Alright,
Walter
so
gets out,
What is it? Yeah. What does this look like to Carlisle?
How did you manage to make
What do I
this?
see?
How did you manage to make this situation so much worse?
I don't even know why you were going in there in the first place. You
What?
speed walk past. Carlisle sees you coming and probably.
Do I see the whole throwing up situation?
I think you probably can't see everything because you're outside the walls, so you can only kind of see a narrow bit of the thing. The orc returns, and then the halfling stops staring at you quite as intently, and the orc says to you as he approaches, Richard will be on his way. And then like 1 second later, Walter just blitzes past.
As soon as
The
I'm
orc's
getting
like,
out, I'm vomiting.
as Walter's vomiting, I'm like, well, Raja will make his excuses. There's no reason to go in there. What did you do? Do they know about us? Why are you barfing?
Okay. Okay. Listen, I thought I could go in and help Raja. He was Carlisle. He gave us a signal. Where were you guys?
How are you gonna help him in there? He'll just cause a big stir.
No.
We just need to. He can just say he doesn't feel well or something.
Listen, Vlad, I think you're. It's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing went wrong. I didn't get seen by.
On your shoes.
Very stressful. That's why I came back. It was just really stressful. I got way too nervous. This is not the kind of thing for me.
I just
I'm
take
back
a
over by the
step
guard.
back.
I didn't walk back. I'm still by the guard.
I'm gonna walk over and put my hand on Walter. I'm sorry you're not feeling well, sir. It's been a long time, and it felt like you might have been in trouble, and I felt very stressed. And here, let me help.
Don't cast.
I'm just
music
gonna
on me, Arden. Don't.
cast Cure
Don't.
Wounds on his
God
shoulder.
Damn it, Arden.
Isn't that better?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna go walk over there and continue to be useful.
I am gonna slouch down and pet the cat. I'm done.
Inside the manor, a sword is placed to your throat. I'm kidding, it isn't. You're eating a lovely guinea fowl dinner. You're probably halfway through it when a very chubby-looking cleric sits down in front of you and just takes off his hope-looking hat. I can't remember what they're called, and puts it on the table and wipes his brow, his very sweaty brow, and looks over at the bird in front of you. How's the bird?
So Raja's not. He's never sat in like an expensive noble hall before. Being in the Velvet Crown Casino is like his first ever. Hey, look, I'm in somewhere fancy experience. So initially his thought was, okay, I've been caught. I need to get out of here as fast as I can. And then they put the food down, and he's like, and he's just like both hands just like
Damn
going
right.
full caveman on the food. so when the guy's like, how's the bird? Roger's just like, it's quite good.
Yeah. And he clicks his fingers. Boy, I'll have 2 of those, and bring the bottle of wine. And he sits and watches you eat for a moment and says, well, the name's Maximilian. Nice to meet you.
I think now that one of my targets has arrived, like I'm finally like, oh yeah, hang on, and I'm like wipe my hand thoroughly on a towel first, and then nice to meet you as well. Are you from Lost Stone?
Born and bred. My family are always present with the Silrics. His father was the Chancellor before, and my father was the cleric, personal cleric here in the manor.
What does a personal cleric do exactly? I can't say we have one in Sin River.
We just dabble with the riffraff and the peasantry. We do our own private sermons, of course. You're a pious man.
Oh, of course. And how horrendously rude of me. I'm Wilfred LeChance of Sin River.
I'm not familiar with many from Sin River. Sin River by name, of course. Sin River by nature.
That's the common saying, yes. I don't normally make it up this far north, so I wouldn't expect anyone here to know me, but as I happen to be on a trip up to Clear Peaks, I figured I'd stop by and see my old buddy.
If you would like to pray, then please do feel free to use the altar. You may pray to whomever you wish.
Yes, I noticed the private chapel in the manor here. That's a nice touch. I should have one built in my manor. It's not a bad idea.
Yes, it saves you from having to sit on those dirty, filthy chairs, or on the ground where they kneel. And the dwarves of this town are particularly dirty, leaving all sorts of filth. They've segregated their own area. Fegston runs the temple in town, a filthy wretch of his own.
Have you ever met a clean dwarf? I think not.
Not many, of course.
Nervously take a drink of wine and wonder if casual racism is accepted here.
It's so accepted because he's so rich. Yeah. And fat and white and human. And he belly laughs along with you as they bring two more of these chickens over and put them in front of him, and he just begins to tuck in. Doesn't really say a lot more while he's eating. He doesn't say a prayer or anything either, for the record. He just starts eating. And he raises a glass about halfway through one and well, to wealth, happiness.
All the important things.
He carries on drinking and eating. You do anything mad while you're in here?
Not doing anything crazy. I'm probably I'm trying to figure out how to grill him for information without being super suspicious, until eventually I'll say, I definitely don't come this far north very often, but I've had a couple of friends who've, they've had quite a measure of success up here in the north. Obviously, Chancellor and I have met a few times in the past. I've also got, I feel like everyone has one of those friends you don't talk about as much, but that friend happens to live here in town, so I figured I'd stop by and say hi. Terrible.
Who is it you've come to see?
Stonetooth is his name, but unfortunately I've terrible timing. Apparently his wife just passed away.
He chokes on his chicken. I'm sorry. And you say friend, I assume. There was rhetoric, of course. Absolute filth. Worst of the worst, of course.
I suppose the phrase would be acquaintance. I don't know. We met when we were just children before we went our separate ways. I know his methods are quite questionable, but
yeah,
like I said,
brigand, of course. More than a jumped-up brigand, I'd say. That's what he is. A blight on the town. Disgusting.
Yes, I can't argue with you, but
another criminal to put to the blade. That's what I say.
Well, I don't know that I'd go that far, but I can certainly. I can certainly say that's why I don't mention him very often.
Well, of course, I understand that he's a friend of yours, a filthy flea of a human, of course, little more than a blood-sucking wretch. But I will say his poor wife was murdered. She wasn't too bad, I suppose, for one of those.
Yes, it's unfortunate. She certainly didn't deserve it.
I assume they'll be
apparently
holding...
it wasn't just death by natural causes either. Apparently she was stabbed, which is quite frightening.
No, probably stabbed by Stonetooth himself, a copper piece, no doubt. Soulless, heartless bastard he is.
Quite. Which is why I so often find if I need to employ him instead of more official channels.
Well, employing him's one thing, and his filthy men, but they're more likely to do the job, take the money, and then stab you for more.
This guy really doesn't like Stonetooth very much, does he? Yes, 'tis the nature of it. Although, the saying goes, it's better to do business with the evil you know than the evil you don't know.
Well, yes, I suppose.
At least if I know right from the get-go that he's trying to stab me in the back, I can take measures. It's easier to deal with that than it is to talk to people who claim to be your friend at one moment, and then the moment your back is turned, you find out how they really are.
Well,
forgive me, I didn't.
Stonetooth's wife felt.
Forgive me, I didn't mean to make the conversation so unpleasant. I guess I've become quite cynical in the diplomatic and economic matters in Sin River. As you know, it's not the friendliest town.
Well, of course, yeah. Obviously, rubbing shoulders with all the common filth, bound to get dirty. I suppose that's how it goes. I spend too long behind these walls where I must say I'm quite happy. You know, good food, good drink.
So, at any point during this, is he doesn't seem to be batting an eye at me mentioning the murder or anything. Like, obviously, he doesn't like Stonetooth, but
give me like a general insight check to see how you feel about him. Yeah, he doesn't like. At first he seemed kind of disgusted that you were friends with him. Then it seemed like he immediately was like, "Oh, he can't actually be friends with him. That's just silly. Why would anybody be friends with him?" In general, he just seems like he. Yeah, he's not too bothered. He doesn't really seem to be batting an eyelid. He's already gone back to eating his food.
Okay. You do certainly get a lot of interesting characters passing up along the north side of the continent. Like, do you know who that is? I'm gonna point at the exotic-looking fella that you mentioned. What did you say? You said he had a much different skin tone, right?
Yeah.
The nervous-looking foreigner. I'll point at him. Like, where's that fella from? I don't think I've ever seen anyone looks quite like that. At least not a human.
He's a old friend of the Chancellor's. Did something way back when, while the Chancellor was still in the employ of the Emperor and the Dragoons. Not 100% sure. I've been rather secretive about it, if you ask me. He seems to be a decent fellow from somewhere off the island. He's a interesting man. Speaks many different languages. He's a traveler. Seen almost every part of this world that there is to know. And he's got some strange stories, some dark stories, and not very many jovial ones. But showed up about a week ago. Been dilly-dallying about. Chancellor put him to dancing with the others. Give him something to do while he's in town.
Sounds like an interesting character. I wonder if he's been to a continent where they have rain.
Rain. Rain. Oh, what is that? A drink?
No, it's when water falls from the sky.
Yeah, right. Yes, of course. Yeah, the work of Amberley or some other god of the sea, no doubt. No. Yes, miracles, of course, like that won't be happening here. You should probably willingly speak to the gentleman yourself if you can get a word of sense out of him. Resh is his name.
Well, my father wasn't from the Vale initially either. This is, for the record, this is Rasha totally losing track of his cover story because he's talking about his real father right now. So, well, my father wasn't originally from the Vale either. He's from the northeastern end of the world, and he said he saw rain, but that's been some 20, 30 years ago, I suppose.
Well,
I've never seen it myself. I'm not sure if I believe the old bugger.
It sounds rather terrifying, frankly. I'd rather not drown. I can't swim.
Imagine that.
Well,
Water
falling from the sky. Or will you give it a day before the place fills up and we're all just part of the sea?
Imagine it happening here. It would be mud. It would be the mud veil.
I suppose it might be. He raises his glass. He seems a little scared now that the rain might kill him.
Well, I'll leave you to your priestly duties. I've got a couple of rounds to make and limited time to do so. So enjoy the bird.
Yes, I think I'll have another. Boy, another bird, please.
I'll excuse myself from the table while he's getting another bird.
Yeah, where you going?
After I walk away, does he start eating like I was eating? Just
Yeah.
There's no nobility or any refinement. It was just ravenous. Hey, this is the first real meal I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, no, he's just eating it. That's how he eats.
Yeah, I'll go approach the foreign guy.
Okay. He's still in the ballroom area where Chancellor Silric is kind of like, okay, and then make sure that during the second part of this particular song, you all move out of the way. This is when the blah, 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 blah. And he's just shouting all these bollocks about moving people around the room. The
I guess...
individual you're looking for is stood next to another noble woman, and they're kind of listening to the Chancellor while he speaks, and you kind of linger in the doorway, presumably.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to kind of meander around and wait until the current volley of instructions is done, and maybe the people start to eventually filter out of the room, or maybe I don't know if the others are still trying to sneak in, but I'll just literally stand there and kill time and observe them.
Cool. Good time to go to a break, I think, while Raja mills about inside, the others mill about outside, and this priest eats 3 chickens.
3 chickens. Everybody vomits.
It's like that scene from Game of Thrones where the Hound is demanding a chicken.
All right, we'll be back in 3 to 5. See you soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to Tablestory Dust Veil, a story so ancient and demonic that only Fairlight Excalibur can save us all. Today, the gang are in Lost Stone. Many of them are gathered outside the Chancellor's manor, but one is inside the Chancellor's manor. Cue the Mission Impossible theme, for one remains. Maybe half an hour passes for you, Raja, and you're just stuck watching all these people dance around, all hoity-toity. Eventually the music stops and the Chancellor dismisses most of the noble people. He does it politely and shakes each of their hands individually. They seem to be kind of low-rung nobility here in town. Nobody of extreme importance, just people that seem to have a little more money than the basic peasantry. Bar the chubby cleric and the exotic nobleman and the bards, who the bards seem to head upstairs to some private quarters. The chubby cleric heads off into his temple area, private chapel. And Silric and the exotic nobleman, who the cleric told you was called Resh, like this. They head over towards where you are and into the room.
Resh was the cleric or the foreign guy?
The cleric was called Maximilian.
Right.
And Resh is the foreign guy. They head over to where you are and then past you into the same area, and the Chancellor turns to you as he walks past and says, "Oh, yes, come, let's enjoy a glass of wine."
Certainly. I'll go ahead and follow him.
The guy in the kind of really strange clothing, now that you're a little closer and you look him over, it's nicely made clothing. His boots are a little scuffed, and it's relatively similar to your Sandwalker garb in its design. Like, it's lots of like...
Did we lose
the
him?
arms are pulled up.
Oh, there we go.
Do we lose? Oh,
Did I go back and forward?
You were just starting to describe the guy's clothes and you vanished.
Oh, sorry. I don't know, my internet's doing weird shit, I think. It looks pretty similar to your Sandwalker garb, but a little more fine and a lot more colors going on. Though it's designed in such a way that the fabric can be like pulled down over his arms or pulled up to create sort of a sleeveless effect. Pulled up and down on his legs, and then pulled up as a hood or pulled back down. It's kind of like a versatile. He doesn't say anything to you, but he does give you a sort of curt nod, and then heads in, and they sit at the tables, or the table where you were sat previously, although all of the dishes and things seem to have gone. The Chancellor offers a chair to you, and then to Resh, and sits down across from you next to Resh, and both of them look at you while the Chancellor orders 3 more glasses of wine. The Chancellor says to you, "This is Moden van Resh, a traveler from just about everywhere. And this is Wilfred Lafrance, a landowner from a nearby town, Sin River." And Moden van Resh says, "It's nice to meet you."
A pleasure. From everywhere, you say? That's quite impressive.
I have traveled from Dragon's Reach to the Coral Kingdom, many places. Originally, I was born in Thelmesia. These are all off-continent places. They're all like they're all like different continents.
You know what's funny
kingdoms.
is you're speaking in the voice that I was originally going to give Raja, and I got tired of maintaining it and gave up and just started talking normally.
This is what happens when you use the lightning stone or whatever on a Sandwalker. They become one of these like super travelers that go everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's similar to you.
I see. And what would you say was the most interesting of these variety of locales you visited?
By far, I would say the Mistlands, home of many elves. They have all sorts of strange clothing and foods. The entire place is covered in a thick mist. The longer you stay, the more crazed you might become. You must have very strong mental fortitude. For I was there one day as Moden Van Resh, but by the end of the week I was a crazed dragon flying around. Of course, it was all in my head.
You know, we have mushrooms right here in the Vale that do the same thing.
Very similar. Though those mushrooms are probably not as powerful as the ones from Fien Feilor.
Well, you know how it is with those elves. They always make everything we do look rather shoddy. Tell me, have you ever seen rain?
Why, of course. The Mistlands himself, always raining. The Coral Kingdom was said to have rained so much. That is why it was left underwater.
So it is
Giant
real
lands.
then.
Of course, I would say probably the only place that does not rain is here, in Dust Vale.
Interesting. So where does the water go then? Does it not just fill up?
I am not a man of science. You should speak to one of your gnomes who create these strange contraptions that dart across your lands.
I'm sure the gnomes could educate us on quite a few many things.
Or perhaps the gods.
So how did you end up then in a dry, barren place like this if you've been to all these fantastic foreign places?
A traveler must always make money. And I bring the Chancellor gifts in exchange for coin.
And the Chancellor kind of turns after pouring out or handing over the 3 glasses of wine that the boy brought over and says,
Yes, he brings me many things. The dwarven coins from the Don Darul mines. Of course, there was that one time that you brought me the giant's tears from the giant land's dark swamps. That was a very interesting gift indeed.
Resh kind of just nods his head at each of these things.
Giant's teeth.
Oh, no. Tears.
Oh,
It's,
tears.
There is a pool of water deep within a swamp inside the giant lands, and if you can sneak your way in and take a few drops, it is said to give you strong fortitude, aged life. Suppose it has worked very well for the Chancellor. He looks very strong, would you not say?
Chancellor puffs up his chest.
Don't know if that was the tears of the giants or just hard work.
He does
Did
look
you-
quite sturdy, even by Dragonborn standards.
Years ago, I had Moden bring me a cloak, very strangely woven, shrouded cloak, almost like a shadow itself. A cloak of elvenkind, black in color. Helped me sneak into a criminal hideout and murder the head of the organization. Cut off the head of the snake. That's what I say.
And the Moden Venresh says,
Yes, of course. That was how we first met. Had me travel across the world to collect a very special artifact. Do you still keep it?
and the Chancellor,
No. I lost it many years ago.
How many of these cloaks were made, do you suppose? Were they common?
No, not very common, but the Mistlands and the elves there, they use strange magics, entwine them in the fabrics, the metals of their swords, and the arrows and bows. So perhaps there are many and perhaps there are not, but I have only seen one.
Oh, very interesting. Suddenly I find myself quite limited, having been contained to the Vale, and you've inspired me to go traveling when I get back. Perhaps I'll add that to my exercise regimen.
It is very difficult and arduous sometimes. You will find yourself in strange predicaments. You should be good at running, at fighting, at speaking even.
Well, I feel like I've gotten a little bit better at all of those things over the past couple of years, but I'm certainly not on your level, of course.
You should
Well,
train
perhaps-
with your sandwalkers.
Sandwalkers.
Very good. They are very good at traveling. They know how to survive in the wild, how to avoid creatures, and how to kill them if necessary.
Sounds like it does sound like quite a dreadful experience, but I do suppose that the skill set would come in handy.
The Chancellor. This man does not need to spend any time with the Sandwalkers. He lived by himself out in the wilds. For how long?
That was, oh dear, it wasn't too long. It was actually very short. People do exaggerate the story. It was only about 4 or 5 days, but that was enough of a wake-up call to change my lifestyle after I got back to Sin River.
Well, I'm rather long in the tooth for such things. Don't really head outside of these walls too much anymore. I'd rather entertain what years I have left inside them. No children, no wife to speak of, so I must also find an heir.
Yes, I imagine that must be quite challenging with the relatively low number of your kind around.
Well, I'll appoint somebody, probably not one of these rabble. He kind of looks around at the knights. There was one captain that showed some promise, but I'm not sure. Don't know if he's got the spine for it.
Definitely doesn't have the breakfast anymore.
I see. Just choose your successor via inheritance, I suppose. That's another way to do it.
The traveling man sort of looks you over a little bit. He kind of settles on your face and on your eyes for a moment while you're speaking.
I'm gonna use Slayer's Eye on him.
And what does that give you?
I'm just getting the extra 1d6 if I hit him and studying him for weaknesses, and he's just seeing some Sharingan nonsense go on when I stare back at him. No actual magic movement, but I figure since I have carefully studied someone as my ability, if I see him looking at me, I'm just doing the same thing right back to him, just studying him.
He says, you have the face and the skin of somebody who has spent many years outside, not the skin of somebody who has spent his life garnering land and entertaining balls.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that the couple of years of more vigorous lifestyle have made that much of an impact, because I certainly wasn't like this 4 years ago.
Give me a deception check. He nods curtly.
Of course, the sun beats incessantly and heavily at all times here. It is a strange land, indeed. But then, each land has its own secrets.
It's very true. Perhaps one of these days I'll have to branch out and go see them for myself. Maybe after I find someone competent enough to take care of my affairs while I'm away, and yet every time I take even a short trip, I end up returning to a shambles and a mess that I have to clean up. It's so hard to find good help these days, especially when it comes to running large businesses.
Indeed. If you do find the time, I would suggest that you head east to Alexandria. They say it is the home of the humans. It is where we are said to all have been born and created and come from. You will also be interested in the rain that falls.
Yeah, maybe one of these days. Rashi just drops the fake accent for a split second as he says, one of these days.
Resh says, if you do not mind, Chancellor, I would like to go and rest a little. I have had a trying time dancing with your noble folk.
And the Chancellor says, Yes, Resh. Do what you will.
And Resh excuses himself. Nice to meet you, sir.
Safe travels, my friend.
He heads out. The Chancellor kicks back a little more. An interesting fellow.
So just about to say the exact same thing. Where did you find him?
I spent many years as a dragoon.
working in the employ of the Emperor. And we had to make use of all sorts of people that we could find had uses that we could use. His was very interesting. He can collect almost anything given the right time and coin.
Very valuable skill to have.
He's also very good at sneaking in and out of places. Those travelers learn the ways of places, cities. They know the way, and we can use that. And I've always kept an eye on Moden Venresh. Helped me many times, but he knows a little about me, and I know a little about him. Have him keep coming back and bringing me oddments from around the world. Then I can always keep him in line, in pocket.
Well, it's definitely good to keep your loose cannons in check, as it were.
He fights very strangely. Uses long spears, much like a tulwar.
I see.
Nothing quite so. Grotesque. That sort of thing should be for fighting beasts and not men. I like to look a man in the eyes when I kill him.
Right? Can you believe that they curved swords they use? It's unheard of.
I have a feeling, given the chance, this longsword would take out a Tolwar any day, no matter how good the fighter.
Sorry.
Trusty steel, held close to the body.
It certainly does look quite solid.
Don't let him get too far back.
Suppose if someone were dumb enough to swing a Tolwar straight into it at full strength, yes, it would certainly go in your favor.
Close the distance. Even on a horse, I'd rather have a lance or spear. Tulwar folly. For wretched peasants, feral creatures.
Is it true that Tolwars are usually used for fighting monsters and creatures of some type? I once heard a man say that regular swords tend to become lodged in said creatures, and that's why you would use a Tolwar, so that it doesn't get stuck.
Indeed. And that's why we leave the fighting of the beasts to the savages with the Tolwars.
Quite glad I don't have to deal with any of that.
Indeed.
But sometimes...
What did you use while you were out?
May not like the answer, but I used a spear. I had a small ceremonial knife that was gifted to me by my sister many years back, and I happened to carry it with me often for good luck, and it was all I had, so I attached it to a stick using strips from my robes and made a crafted spear, if you will, and I used that, and the first day I killed a snake, and I cooked the meat. That was where it started, and then after that began the long trek home by myself through the desert, and it was quite frightful, quite disgusting. There were many nasty things out there that I ended up having to run away from and fend off, but it was overall a valuable lesson for me, because when I got back home, I realized just how dependent I had become on having servants and bodyguards do everything for me, and I immediately hired a swordplay instructor, and I've been taking lessons since then. I've also been riding and going for long runs through the surrounding desert. Not out into the desert, mind you, but like right around the borders of Sin River. 2 hours every day for the past 3 years.
That's one hell of a lie. Give me a deception check.
Do I get advantage on it for being thorough?
Nope.
Nope. There it is.
He says, he's watching you a little bit, and a couple of times he kind of squints a little and kind of eyes you up for a moment, but he seems like maybe he's just sort of kind of looking you over, thinking that you're just bluffing because you're in front of big, strong Chancellor Silric. But still kind of believes mostly what you're saying and says, I'd very much like to see that ornate ceremonial dagger that you have.
Oh, sadly, I don't have it with me. The gnomes within the last year, they've become quite upset at people bringing weapons on the train without a valid reason for it, and I've taken to keeping it at home, especially since I almost lost it on that trip.
Well, the trains are usually reserved for the nobility, but I've heard there've been some ruckus on a couple of them recently. Heathens and criminals and the like. I don't trust them, and I don't blame the gnomes.
Well, they certainly do know a thing or two. I suppose there's a reason their kind has survived for so long, despite being so small.
Being paid to create things for the Emperor, trinkets that ride all around the Vale. Though I will say the trains are quite useful for heading from one place to another swiftly. The gnomes are something else entirely.
It is quite handy, although it's not without its drawbacks. I've noticed that just the amount of riffraff passing through towns and corruption and such travels faster. The faster we travel, the faster the negatives travel. It seems it's very unfortunate. I heard some rumors as I entered town here. You've been having issues here of your own. Is it true there was a woman murdered in town not but 2 days before my arrival?
Yes, a wretched woman belonging to a brigand, the wife of a horrible blight on the town, known as Stonetooth. Mercenaries Guild, if you want to call them that. Bunch of criminals, if you ask me, as you say.
Well then, I suppose we might be better off without them, though that's still rather concerning that, what if it had been someone else? Killers on the loose is never good, even if, perhaps their targets might be justified in some cases. Am I getting any kind of reaction out of him from this?
Give me an insight. No, he seems pretty relaxed and pretty chill.
He's 100% guilty.
He seems pretty chill. It doesn't seem like any of this is like affecting him. He doesn't look guilty. His eyes aren't flicking all over the place or anything. He's just sipping at his wine. Common filth, mostly. As you say, the train brings them. It's swollen lost stone in good ways and bad, though a lot of it brings those criminals in, and they, by law and right, are allowed to practice their mercenaries guild here. Bounty hunting is, of course, one way of making money. But I believe that they're really running a deep criminal organization, which will no doubt one day undo the very fabric of this town which my father built.
Can you not issue some sort of an edict to, oust them from the city, or perhaps, maybe not all at once, perhaps a very slow, one at a time, a minor change to the law here and there, eventually maybe drive them off to do business elsewhere? It sounds like they're not healthy for your town at all.
We've tried to do a few things, though. A storekeep here, a bartender there. Once you lose all of those, the town stops flourishing. Want to keep the trade up, want to make sure that the town is still prosperous, and unfortunately, they're like a poison. They're in every nook and cranny. Really, they need to be replaced. Now, I suppose you can be in on this one, but we have a sort of plan of attack here. We're going to see if we can remove the head, Stonetooth himself, and replace him with one of our own, and then work them out from the inside out.
That would be the best solution, yes, because then you'd still have their economic staying power, but you'd have it under your thumb where it belongs, instead of in the hands of some rabble and peasant.
They have a painfully large amount of control over various parts of the town. When my father was dying and weak, Stonetooth put his fingers into the pie, and that's when he made his move. Unfortunately, by the time I was in power, they were well established.
That's unfortunate how being just a few moments late can have such a big impact.
As a dragoon, we did one of two things every time. Send in the dragoons and wipe out all of them, or cut the head off the snake, which was my preferred method.
And I suppose with the number of them that are infested here, sending in the dragoon is not quite a valid option.
They're set to their own business. I have no control over them. They really do work for the Emperor. I am long since retired. I've got my own men here, though they're not quite up to the standard of the dragoons. I wouldn't mind putting one of them in charge of that guild.
Well, hopefully, and I'll reach for the wine glass and just kind of say, well, hopefully you're able to get rid of that nasty peasant and get the affairs in order here where they belong. Although, it's odd. His wife was just killed.
Indeed.
You would think if you were going to cut the head off the snake, would that not... He's probably quite alarmed, I suppose.
Well, I imagine one of his rabble did it. They're all killing each other all the time, aren't they? Peasants?
Of course. I didn't mean to imply that you knew who did it. I'm simply saying that it will probably be more difficult to dispose of him now. He'll be on guard if he's just lost someone that close to him.
There's a knocking at the door, and behind there is Knight, thin, quite good looking, sick down the front of his armor. You would recognize him as Ritzel. He kind of tries to get the attention of the Chancellor. Chancellor? A word? What is it? Ritzel, come on. What's on your front of you there? Chancellor, a word in private.
Oh,
I've got
dear.
a matter to attend to. A matter? I can't see I'm having a conversation. You'll just pull me away. Sir, if you wouldn't mind, it's rather urgent. He turns to you and says, yes, well, I have to speak to my captain here. Matter of urgency. If you wouldn't mind, I'll excuse myself.
Duty calls, and as it were, I have to get running. Anyway, I'm supposed to meet with an architect, and he's... Oh dear, I'm actually... I hope I'm not keeping him waiting. If you'll excuse me, and I'll look at my imaginary watch and then just stand up.
Where do you go? Ritzel is in the doorway that leads straight out to the courtyard. There's another doorway at the far end, and there's a doorway that leads to the ballroom and then back through to the drawing room.
I will walk toward, like I'm going to walk past Ritzel and out.
Cool. Ritzel is staring at you like you are a demon that has been risen up by Satan himself and approaching him.
He never saw my face, did he?
He takes a step back, kind of watching you approach, and hesitantly lets you pass, and then hurries forward towards the Chancellor.
I want to give him the smuggest of all grins. I want to give him the most. Hey, look as I'm walking past and out the door.
Yeah, and then you're heading out. Give me a perception check as you head away.
Sure.
You hear, like, as you get outside of earshot, you hear Ritzel suddenly go, "Sir, I've uncovered a terrible, terrible thing. There's a plot. There's a plot. I'm not sure that man might be one of them."
I'm gonna try and, like, as soon as I'm able to break line of sight, just kind of like flatten against the wall and hear out the rest of what he's saying.
The Chancellor says, "What is it? Or what plot?"
The criminals. Those criminals, sir. The ones who are... The Emperor has put a great bounty on their head that you warned us of, that would potentially be coming to town.
Yes. The heathens. The blistering heathens.
Yes, they are almost definitely here in town, sir. And I think I may have run into them once or twice.
What? And you didn't put the sword to them?
No, I'm not quite sure if it's them or not. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure one of them, definitely, which means all of them. Not sure exactly what's happening, but please don't have my head for this. But Yeah. One was here in the grounds, in the courtyard.
Did you arrest him?
No, sir. I rather thought he was going to kill me.
You're a knight. You will not understand. You're a personal guard of mine, and you can't protect the grounds that you're employed to.
Yes, I'm very sorry, sir. But if we move quickly, I think we might be able to catch them.
Right. Okay, well then. Gather the other guardsmen that you can.
I'm gonna start.
Lock up the manor.
Not sprinting, but at this point, I think it's time to quickly walk to the exit.
So it was a human, and it was a cleric Fearbold, and a half-elf, a dwarf, and a Kenku, apparently. Right. Get the word out to the common watchman.
Everybody else.
You are outside, presumably, still, when Raja hurriedly walks out.
I'm Vince McMahoning out the front door.
Vince McMahon's out the front door. Left it on Raja for a while. I honestly thought you were all going to go in and attempt to sneak into this place and do all this bit, but Raja did it. So
yeah, I thought everyone was coming in.
Well,
I was trying to get in.
That conversation was just too good to interrupt. So I wasn't.
You see Raja heading out. The two guards that are at the front, Raja, as you walk past, give you like a curt nod. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. As you head out into the town,
including including the halfling that has like the death stare, right?
Yeah.
As I'm walking out. As I'm walking out, I'm just gonna say.
I call over to
Sir. Farewell. Sir. You keep it up. Good job. to the halfling, the mean stare. You good job. Keep it up. I like it. As I'm walking out the door.
LaFrance,
Yes. Gromnir, the architect I'm supposed to meet.
Aye, we're talking about the aqueduct.
Yes.
I turn to the guards.
All right, it's private business. Don't listen in. Jesus.
Oh, well, I'm actually finished here, so we can head to a tavern or something and discuss it there.
Oh, shit, kicker ale. That'll do. Like, come on. I know the best spot in town.
Certainly not. I'm sure they have better ales available, but yes, let's. Yeah, and I'll just like walk away from the guards with him as we argue about ale flavors.
I turn to the guard. Don't you like a shit kicker?
The big orc just goes, yeah, I'll tell you what, you get a good shit kicker ale in town, but, you know, there's a private store that we've got. I mean, he looks down at the halfling. I don't like it very much, actually. If you wouldn't mind moving along, sir.
I'll lean back in and go, a private store, you say? Do tell.
I'm afraid I don't know.
I'll look down at the halfling and go, oh, come on now, don't keep secrets. That's just rude.
The halfling says, you'll have to inquire within, sir.
Oh. Well, if only I had more time. We'll have to come back after our meeting.
Of course.
Hey,
have a good evening.
I need a shit kicker. And I'll just trot along.
Where are you going? You're going to catch up with everybody else? Hiding down an alleyway, Scooby-Doo style, all the rest of the heads looking around the corner?
Literally just get around the corner or off in the distance, and then where is everyone? You guys left me in there for 45 minutes. What if I were dead?
Well, I was trying to get in. Trying to dress up as a...
Yeah, sorry. Before we get too distracted, Ritzel's onto us. He's in there telling them that we're in town and giving our descriptions right now, and we need to go.
How the hell did he...
Have we come back to us?
Yeah, you're all there. Yeah.
Okay, because I've got like a plan of attack laid out, drawn in the sand of how to get into the manor and save Raja.
It's like you go around down an alleyway and they're like sat around.
Yeah, I'm
with a stick and like drawing in the sand.
Oh, Raja, you're fine. Okay.
Raja, who did you figure out who?
How did they find out we're here?
Just telling them. I think Ritzel might be onto us.
I think now it clicks.
I'm just gonna put my hand.
Carlisle says, like, what?
I'm just gonna put my hand on Walter's shoulder and go, just kind of like this. What am I gonna do with you? Sigh. Yes, he's onto us.
Yeah, so we were gonna get in there and save you, but we've probably got to.
How the hell did he get onto us?
I don't know. He never saw us, but someone must have tipped him off.
It's a bizarre coincidence. We'll never know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's there, Walter.
Can I roll a performance check for my poker face?
No.
Fuck.
Walter, what the hell did you do when you went in there?
Wait, you went in?
Well, I
You
walked
went in, came back out.
Listen, Ritzel saw me. Somehow he knew it was us. But what do you mean? Like, he's coming? Or because I totally threw him off the case. He was
No. He was definitely he was
5
reporting directly to the Chancellor, and he was telling them to be on the lookout for a dwarf of Firbolg, and the rest of us.
We should have killed him. He told me he was going to leave town.
Well, I gotta grow in over 6 feet then, because I can't be a dwarf around here.
Should we go back to the carved men then? Or
Well, on the bright side, I'm about 99% certain I know who the killer is, so that's good.
Well, we know who the killer is, but we're gonna be killed.
Exactly. It might not be worth our time to stick around.
well, we can drop off the information, and then quickly head out to, or hide out until the next train.
This is true. The Chancellor said he only needed the name.
If we get him the name, can't his friend Cambapolopoulos help us?
The Chancellor needed the name.
Or the Stonetooth?
Huh?
I meant
Stonetooth.
Oh, you said Chancellor.
Did he? You know what he meant.
We should.
This is no time to be dwarvish. Let's go. I want to point to the.
It was actually Roger that said Chancellor.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was me. Oh.
I didn't even notice. I'm just gonna say let's go back to the Stone Men.
Yeah.
We'll report our findings and then we need to get out of here.
All right. So you guys head away from the manor. As you're moving down the side of the manor, you can hear a commotion from inside, as if people are packing things up and armor is being strapped on. And
What up?
there's a bunch of there's a commotion. Heading back towards the carved men, you head inside, and I'd say it's pretty similar to how it was when you left. There's just the single dude, Total Bones, and young Crummel, and the barmaid in a particularly short skirt now. There's probably a few more people in as the evening begins. Probably like 6 p.m. or so now. You kind of had some time there, 6, 7 people starting to head in. She's starting to move around the room and provide drinks for people, but generally still relatively quiet. What do you guys want to do once you step in?
Go see
Kinda lost
Stonetooth straight away, I guess.
Yeah.
Beeline it straight to the
Definitely.
So yeah, you head in and then down that long hallway past the stairs that lead upwards into that far end door. You give it a rap. He dismisses the 2 guards. They head out. You guys all pile in, close the door, and Stonetooth sits in front of you again. Short human man, big desk in front of him, grey hair, big thick spectacles on his face, and a bunch of coins and jewels laid out in front of him. He brushes some of them to the side, crosses his hands, and says,
Right then, you got more news for me, have you?
I've got the name.
You finally got the name, and you're sure of it?
Quite.
Go on then. Who's the
Modin
bugger?
van Resch.
Modin van Resch.
I couldn't kill him because he was in the Chancellor's manor at the time, but it's him.
And who might that be?
He's apparently a traveler / collector of curios. Reminds me kind of like a sandwalker, except leaves the country frequently. He's in the employ of the Chancellor, and I guess he lives in the manor. They said he showed up about a week ago, and they've had him doing odd jobs for them ever since. He matches the description. He's the right size. He has the expertise and the weaponry to get in and out undetected. And furthermore, he's also a collector of foreign objects. So whatever kind of gemstones he stole, it's right up his alley.
Sounds about right. An off-worlder. See, I normally get my little kobolds to go around and collect the things what I need. Don't need to pay through the teeth, you just got to pay them in eggs. Modin van Resch.
Right. He opens the drawer, pulls out parchment, pulls over an ink and pen, and takes the description. I assume you give him the description. Folds the paper again, puts it in the top drawer, closes it, and says, "Right then. If you're completely sure, I'm completely sure. I'll have him bagged, dragged, and hurt. I wouldn't say killed, not yet. We'll see how many fingers and nails and teeth and eyes we can pull out of him first."
I may have uncovered information more interesting than that while I was there.
Go on then.
The Chancellor's going to have you killed.
Gonna have me killed, is he?
Apparently he's grown quite tired of your influence, and rather than try to bring your entire empire down or run the carved men out of town, he's just going to have you killed and try to install a puppet in your place.
I did suspect he might be trying something like that at some point. Doesn't like me. None of them do. Right then.
Yeah, I believe his exact words were a blight on society and a blister needing to be removed, something along those lines.
Sounds about right. All them toffs up there dancing in the manor don't know what's coming. We're perfectly prepared for it. He pulls out a weird-looking weapon and slams it on the table. Carlias. You would recognize this as a scatter gun. Very similar looking to a shotgun. And he slams it on the table and pushes it forward. He says, "There's been a civil war coming a long time. Never knew which one of us was going to pull the trigger. Guess it'll have to be me."
Carlis's eyes are just
Carlias.
like, just large. He's like, oh.
He winks at you, Carlias, and says, "Always got to be quick on the draw, ain't ya?"
Fast hands and all.
Raj is looking at it first, though. He picked it up first, and he's kind of examining it. And he's like, "It's kind of big, isn't it?" As he stares,
I tell you,
as he stares directly into the barrel.
I grab the barrel away
quite
from his
big.
face.
He,
You ever learn to not look directly down the barrel of a gun?
Stonetooth carefully pulls the gun away again, puts it back under the desk. "Maybe I should keep that out of your hands."
Oh, maybe his hands, but what about mine?
Your hands? You got enough guns, boy. You don't need mine. Listen, I got some information for you lot before I send you on your way. The Emperor himself put a black bounty on each one of your heads. Except the little one. Kind of looks down at you, Lash. A bounty worth such a grand sum of money that it can't even be trusted to the common bounty hunters like your boy Drex here. He kind of looks at the coins and the jewels on the table and says, "As far as I'm aware, more even than this. There's some nasty types after you lot, and I was one of them, until you did me this here favor. Now, I'm going to take my dogs off your backs." And he winks at you again, Carlias. "One of them's your old mate. He's had a gun trained on you since you stepped into town." He says, "I suggest you all avoid officialdom from here on out."
Considering I just finished a 40-minute conversation with the Chancellor, I'd be quite happy to not have to keep staring at the giant dragonborn who looked like he was ready to cut someone in half.
About that, we should probably start to go.
Oh yeah, they know we're in town.
Listen, I ain't saying I'm going to keep my mouth closed, but I will say I like you a hell of a lot more than that bastard we've got as an emperor. So for now, you're all right in my books. But don't go swanning about thinking we're friends, because we ain't. I'll cut your eyes out and feed them to your own mother, just as soon as shake your hands. Now, here's a nice big bag of gold. And he just pulls a big fucking bag of gold out and says, "You won't be needing to save any of that for the train, but you will need some eggs. Thanks for your business. Now fuck off. Head up to the old lookout and just whistle."
Is the trader still open?
We need eggs?
I'm asking. Stone. Is it open?
It's going to be closing soon, probably.
I'm running out the door.
Eggs? I'll just take your word for it.
Gotta find that gentleman we saw earlier.
Next time you head into this town, hopefully it'll be mine. And if it ain't,
don't head into town.
Well, we wish you the best. Thank you.
Good luck with your civil war.
Good luck with whatever business that's got you into this mess in the first place.
I'll turn back to Arden and Carlias and Lash and just say, you should probably get out of here before the shots start firing. It sounds like things are heating up to a boiling point real quick.
Yeah, can I see the gold? Maybe he put one of those black gems in there.
I'll just turn back to him. Can she have one of those? And like point at the gemstones. She really wants one. She's been eyeballing them since we found them.
He looks down at him. In fact, give me a persuasion check with advantage because of Lash's big puppy dog eyes staring up at Stonetooth's cold black heart.
I'll just roll it normal twice. There we go. 19.
He says,
one of these ones. No, these ones have a rare meaning to me. But you can have one of these.
and he drags over one of the boxes on his desk and opens it up, and there's just an array of different gems in there. Blue sapphires, jade, emerald, a diamond, you name it, there's one in there. You may take one gem.
They're so beautiful.
And this time you don't even have to steal it.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge to keep her hands off of them.
Yeah, the sapphire might be a painful reminder. I'm going for the diamond.
Cool, yeah. You snatch up the diamond, a small thing, but cut. And he closes the box and pushes it and says,
Right, I got business to get to. Don't forget the eggs. And don't forget the whistle.
Thank you.
What kind of whistle?
Any whistle, he'll find you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
He's gonna scurry you out of town. Quick, sharp.
I head towards the door.
Yeah, I'm like high-kneeing it across right
You've
now.
already gone, right? You're like,
yeah,
at the
I'm like
traders.
across the train tracks right now, like
just a side swipe to just a completely different area of town.
So I'm like-
There's like a baker or like a trade, like a fruit and veg dude that just sells food who's like turning the closed sign as you like ding 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 like,
Wait,
through the door.
are you open?
Hey, like I am.
Do you have eggs?
Little dwarf.
Eggs? Hey, you got the coin?
How many?
How many eggs you got there, love? You got a dozen?
A
Dozen?
I'll take them all.
All right, dozen eggs.
How much?
55 gold. I'm kidding. Two silver. 2 silver. Come on, man. I want to get a tavern. Come
I'll
on.
flick him a gold.
Hey, shit kicker.
Thank you so much. And I'll
right.
run out real quick.
Later, pal.
Turns the sign, closes it. You now have a dozen eggs.
Oh my god.
You have a dozen eggs. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
I'm gonna run back over to the carved men until I see them. Just once again, like holding the eggs out.
Yeah.
I need my I'm taking my stuff back from Carlias, and then there's the montage of like putting the sword back in place, putting the knife back in place, putting the gun back in place, putting the gun back in place, putting the robes back in place,
like the Evil Dead one where he's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. Where are you guys
that
going
thing
next?
doesn't help with the heat. It was baked in there.
It does help with the heat if you're in direct sunlight. You take it off when you're indoors. Come on, you should know this stuff.
It was suffocating. The thing was wrapped around. I couldn't breathe. All right, you ready?
Don't wrap it around your nose and mouth then.
I'll have to hide my face.
I'm still staring at my diamond. Oh,
The
yeah.
point is that it keeps the sun from hitting directly on your head. Reflects it.
Raja,
Only
how
I
much
had
gold
a
did
head.
he give us? How much gold did he give us?
Oh yeah, I suppose I should look in the bag, huh? I'm gonna pull out the bag and tally it up.
with the eggs.
Yeah. You have 1,000 gold pieces exactly in that bag.
For not solving the murder.
Not solving the murder.
Guys, I got eggs.
In all fairness, the guy didn't really, I think, care as much like about the wife in and of itself.
Well, my thinking is, they're about to have a civil war where he's gonna kill everyone,
Yeah.
and they'll probably kill Modin. So then, it won't, like, whoever did it is gonna get it anyway. So the problem is solved.
All right, we better.
I'm
better
just
go.
upset that I'm going to leave town without getting to duel either the Chancellor or Modin because both of those sounded like interesting fights.
Yeah.
Modin was Godin. Yeah.
Real quick, do you guys want me to carry this around, or should we divvy it up, or
Carry what around?
the gold?
When did I hand you the gold?
I'm pointing at the bag, like
Oh.
of gold.
The
I'm like
fucking heavy
pointing at the
bag.
bag of gold. Yeah.
Is he pointing at the bag that I'm holding?
Yeah, saying like, do you want me to carry
we'll-
this around, or are we divvying it up?
I
We'll
guess
do
we,
that later.
we can split it up in a bit. We need to get out of here. I don't know how. See, here's the thing. If the Chancellor and his men are going to come looking for us, and Stonetooth is getting ready to trigger some sort of rebellion, this might be the spark that ignites it right now. Like the whole town could just turn to crap very quickly. We should
That's
just.
why
leave
we gotta get out
immediately.
right now
Let's go to,
and
let's
use
go
the
to town.
war as some form of distraction. Let's go.
The lookout tower?
Yes, let's go now.
Yeah.
And
We have to
we'll
go to
start
the
it.
tower and the whistle.
Bosco and all of our, or Roscoe and all of our stuff, and running.
You still have that cat?
Listen, okay, I'm keeping him. He's mine. He was
Yet
Ritzel's,
another
and
town
Ritzel
we've
sold us out, so
thoroughly
he's mine.
destroyed.
You got 2 cats and 1,000 gold and a diamond, and you're all alive, and you solved a murder, and you started a civil war in this town. Well, yeah, you sort of started it.
All in a day's work for us.
All in a day's work. And yeah, you guys head through the town now and start moving through the across the train tracks, through the areas, past the area where the homeless people were and the dwarven temple that your character got lost in, Walter. There's a commotion. You can see quite a lot of the guards and stuff of all moving towards House Stone Manor. It does seem like something's going on up at the manor at the moment. As you head outside, just outside of the town, and up that sort of incline towards where that old lookout tower is, you approach it probably as the sun is setting. You can see the sun lowering in a very Star Wars New Hope way. You all step up on that hill as the town turns into a hoth, and you come to the lookout tower, and there's a sound of mewling cats from inside it. What do you guys want to do?
Do you guys know how to whistle?
I think. Yeah, I can whistle.
Oh.
And then
also
you
do
see
that.
me cry, and I just like, with my new halfling face, I fail miserably.
Who wants to attempt to whistle?
Didn't yeah, is that Carlias?
Yeah.
Give me a performance check.
Oh no.
Performance.
Nice. Yeah. Carlias lets out this like epic fucking whistle where he just like
Shadowfax actually shows up.
Shadowfax level fucking Gandalf fucking whistle.
Fly, you fools!
Fly, you fools! And this scratching starts coming from the other side of the hill, the opposite side to where you climbed up. There's this sort of weird scratching noise, like, and appearing on the other side as the sun sets is 2 sets of little golden eyes. The little character that you recognize, who met him? Cambambulus.
I think
Cambambulus.
we
Bambambulus.
We're all in the back room. No, wait,
Oh.
somebody was in the front room.
I met him. I think was
Two of us
Roger there
didn't.
as well.
I think it was just me and Carlias.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't.
Yeah, I guess the rest of us
It
were in
was
the front
it was
room.
3 of you and 2 of us stayed out.
Who stayed out?
It might have been me and Lash and Carlias, and then Arden
Yeah.
and Walter were out in
Yeah,
the
because
front
I thought I
lobby.
yeah.
remembered being in there, like talking about the gems and
Yeah.
junk.
So you 3?
Yeah.
I've met him. Yeah.
Okay. So 2 of you won't recognize this figure. 2 and 3 of you will. A little satchel over his back, a little robe over his body, and then like a little walking staff as he climbs up. The little scratching noise is his little weird long toenail feet things. He's a reptile type thing, very small, about 2 feet tall. And he climbs up and he looks over and sees each of you and stands up and says,
Yes, sir. you are to leave the town, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The name is Chambambulus Bambambulus.
He says to the two that he hasn't met.
And
Actually-
we have the eggs.
Yeah, I'll hand him over the bag of eggs.
Just to say, it was Arden that met him because I remember Arden thought he was a goblin.
Oh yeah, I was a goblin.
But
yeah.
well, it was
That's
Lash
fair,
and Walter that haven't.
I
Yeah.
couldn't
Okay.
place where I thought I had seen him. Nice.
Yeah.
There's a
Um,
dozen in there. I hope that's
He
okay.
like opens them up and looks in.
Oh, yes.
And then he sits down cross-legged and just picks one up and whole pops it in his mouth.
Yes. Very good eggs. Fresh. Thank you very much.
And he stands up and says,
Okay then. Follow me. Oh, wait.
and then he pulls out a small dagger and says,
I'm supposed to give you this.
Who does he give it to?
Lash. He just hands it randomly, but Lash is closest to him as he hands it over, which is pretty weird. The dagger he hands you, he says,
This is the last gifts from Stonetooth.
Well,
the
what?
dagger is a really weird looking, kind of ritualistic looking dagger, and it is an exact duplicate of the one that you got from the halflings in Sin River in the random game that you played. It looks a lot like
Oh,
this.
Wow.
As he hands it to you, you have two of these exact
Yeah.
now. The strange halfling ritualistic dagger. He says,
Stonetooth says that you need it. I don't
Wait.
know, Rose. Don't use it on me.
he starts walking
Okay.
down the hill and scratching down, and it's more of a climb than a walk, but he kind of does it kind of naturally in that weird lizard-like way that lizards are able to just climb down things. He starts just climbing down. It's not downwards-ish climbing. And he says,
The kobolds all live underground, and we have made trains. But we don't call them trains. Gnomes call them trains. We don't like the gnomes. We steal from the gnomes, and we make the mines. We call them minecarts. They're just carts. And they're in the mines. So call them minecarts.
and he carries on climbing down. It's, again, not too difficult, but it takes a little while to get down there. And he brings you to like a pretty well concealed opening that clearly leads into like a tunnel system. He says,
Okay, one after the other. Into there.
I'm just heading in.
Jump in. Yeah.
heading in
Yeah.
to the kobold mines.
Yep.
He
Just saying, last time I went into an underground mine shaft, I was dead as Russia starts walking inside.
So he takes you into like a long tunnel that then leads to this area where there are these sort of discarded parts of trains and mine carts, and these tunnels that are not well crafted, broken down, splintered timbers that push endlessly down through this weird tunnel that seems to have been carved out manually. And it's not very big either. It's a pretty small space. Like you'd be a little hunched in here, maybe 6 feet to the top. And there are a set of tracks, 2 sets that run just deep into this tunnel. The whole thing is not lit. There's no like lamps or lights or anything that really light this up. So if you have dark vision, you can make it out. And the rest of you can make out like a little from the sun setting outside. But the kobolds down here seem to have made like a weird underground tunnel mine cart network. They've used the scraps of what looks like bits and pieces of train tracks that they've just stolen from the overland and brought down and created their own little thing. They don't have the brains of the gnomes, but they can tinker just as well. So they make these weird mini tunnel network things. In front of you guys, as you step through and then walk down into the area where this mine tunnel begins, is this minecart. Set of 3 carts attached, and the frontmost cart has this strange steam-like engine just lumbered onto the front. And it seems like it's been pieced together from the scraps of these overworld trains. And it's very bulky, and it sits like partially under and partially on the front section of the first car. There's a small furnace kind of boiler on top. Again, this is all like forced
Packed
on.
together.
Like they've just bolted this thing together, and they've just made this vague engine, and it doesn't look pretty compared to anything else up on the top side. Either side of the front are these 2 large chimneys that run down the side of it that push the steam out. Chambambulus stumbles past you all and pushes and hops up into the first cart and begins to fill a large tank inside the front of the furnace boiler, igniting it then and lighting up the area nearby a little better for anybody who doesn't have dark vision. And it begins to rumble slowly, popping and wheezing. Every so often, like a giant boiling globule of water will launch itself off in a random direction, causing you to avoid it. And Chambambulus says,
Okay, this wants to be going to Finjunes, yes.
Yes, that's the place.
Finjunes is it, very quickly. Okay, you can go to the quick routes, or we can go to slow routes, or we can take the dread tunnels.
Oh.
What's in the
maybe
dread
not
tunnels?
the dread-
The dread tunnels belong to Raging Rex. We don't really want to go to the dread tunnels. We can, but I don't want to go there.
Maybe the fastest route.
Yeah, maybe
Is the fast route safe?
I can get you to Finjune in 2 days if we take the safe route, or in half a day if we use the dread tunnels. The fast route, sometimes it takes 1 day, sometimes we get lost.
Okay, this matters only if we want to beat what's his name, right?
Exactly.
not
So we
the end
have
of
to
the
get there
world.
first.
If we never, okay.
We can't have those other guys beat us there, those ninjas or whatever they were calling themselves.
The dread tunnels sound pretty nice, actually.
The dread tunnels is very, very dangerous.
Exactly. So there won't be anything there. Everybody will be afraid.
Why is it called dread tunnel? Who is this person you said is in there?
The dread tunnels belongs to Raging Rex. They have to be very fast. You avoid the Raging Rex, they have to be very fast. The dread tunnels is very fast.
Wait, slow down. What is the Raging Rex?
It's a Raging Rex is a Raging Rex.
What can you
It's
describe it?
Cannabulus is a Raging Rex. Is a Raging
What
Rex.
is a Rex?
Look, maybe we should just take the 2 days.
Describe it. How
route.
big is it? Like,
Oh, it's very big. Well, it's also big compared to Chambambulus.
Yeah.
any specific features? Big feet, big eyes.
Big feet, big arm. It has the big spinning blades on its arms.
Guys, let's take the 2 day
spinning
route.
blades on its arms.
No,
huh?
we're gonna go the safe route, right?
The fast route.
Yeah, I don't want
The
to lose
safe
my.
route, I think, is the best one.
A half a day, you say, in the dread
Half a
tunnels.
day of the dread tunnels.
Oh,
May as
We
well
can
just
do a
take the
half a
fast
day on
one.
the fast route too, but sometimes we get lost on the fast route and it takes us the fast way all the way to Dead Rise. I don't like going to Dead Rises. Dead Rises is scary. There's ghosts in the tunnels.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't want to go south.
Okay, so perhaps we should avoid of the dread tunnels because giant spinning blades, as entertaining as that sounds, are not really in our plan right now. But I'm certainly not letting Leon and the rest of his cronies get there first, so we're going the fast way.
But
But
we
what
might
if the
go to-
fast way takes longer?
What if we go to
'Cause
Dead
you
Rise
said
by accident?
Sometimes they get lost.
If we go to Dead Rise, then I'm going to pick up a pair of flying shoes.
Okay, fast route.
There's only one pair.
That's why I said I'm going to pick up a pair of flying shoes.
I'm just looking at Lash like, you realize he's having the boots, right?
I can't go
I
to
don't-
Dead Rise anymore. So, let's hope we don't.
Fast route it is.
Which is the fast routes, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think I remember it.
There's no way this goes to the dread tunnel either, right? There's no way we can.
Oh, everything leads to the dread tunnel.
Oh, lovely.
Sometimes the dread tunnel leads to us. It depends if the region finds us, or hears us, or sees us, or thinks us. I don't know.
What?
I'm starting to think we would have been safer with the Chancellor.
You're wrong there. I think that's.
It's okay. You're with Bambambulous. That's very, very, very clever. I'm making this myself. I call it a minecarts because we're in the mines, and it's a
It's
cart.
actually really cool.
Yeah,
Well,
I see the
great.
mines, and I assume the carts are. Is the cart nearby?
Yeah, it's right in front of you. It's 3
okay.
mine carts.
I mean,
attached to
I
a
see them. I see the mine, and I see the cart. It's a very clever name.
I lean into the Raj. I'm like, you know, dwarves came up with that, right?
Yeah, but you guys never built it all the way under the desert.
Yeah, but we kind of coined the term minecart. Like,
We must be fast, fast, fast.
Yeah.
Okay. I just
fast.
hop in the rearmost cart.
Yeah.
You get in the rearmost cart. Okay.
Wait, did these 3 all go to the same place?
Oh, why'd you say
Oh,
I'll take
yes. Most of the times.
I'm gonna hop in the rear one with her as well. So we have range
is there
at
room in the
back.
first one, or
He watches each of you and says,
Who wants to ride up front with me? You'll be in charge of pulling levers. You must be
I'll do
fast
it.
with your eyes.
I'll do it. I kind of want to, you know.
Fast with your eyes, fast with your hands.
Yeah, you know the drill.
Okay.
I feel like this should be a job for Arden.
I'm gonna sit in the back, the cart, like right behind the first one, and just kind of like eye him to make sure that he's doing it right. Even though I don't think Arden actually knows what he's doing.
he says,
2 will ride in the central carts. Fast with the eyes you must be, able to spot falling rocks and the spikes. You must shout duck.
Oh.
What? Why do you have falling rocks and spikes as part of
It's
your
very fast.
design?
This is the fast minecarts in the world.
I'm sure they're fast, but could you have not built them without spikes and falling rocks?
Look,
No, you can't build the minecarts outside of the minecart. It's the mines. The mines is the only way we can travel. If we go upstairs, the gnomes will steal the stuff back.
All right. Who has the quickest reflexes here?
Probably.
Everybody needs a quick reflex.
Carlias,
If you're in the
right?
front, if you're in the middles,
I'm in
if
the-
you're in
I'm
the
in the front.
back.
Lash, maybe you should go in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm half nudging, but half like actually just picking her up and moving Lash to the middle cart. Like let's do it this way. Arden, go back there with Walter, and I'm gonna jump in the middle.
Okay.
Hello.
Two must ride in behind. They're in charge of killing the speckle rats. They chase us.
Okay, I'll go
Hey,
in the
Walter,
middle. I'm gonna pick up Roscoe.
As soon as he says that, I'm gonna hand the crossbow back to Walter. You're gonna need this. It sounds like.
Well, he can use his magic now, right?
I can use magic.
After we
Right?
get away from the city, right?
Are we away
It's
from the
We're
city?
interesting.
We're still well within the city limits, I think. So probably wait a minute or two until we're farther away.
I don't know.
Well,
Don't
it's
do
a
the
good thing the
magics.
2 cats are riding in the back. How big are those rats?
The speckle rats. This is big.
Oh,
Round.
okay.
They glow in the dark. You can see them really easy.
They glow. Okay, we better go.
Okay, let's do it.
Yep.
I'll do it quickly before I change my mind.
Chambambulous like jumps into the front and then he pulls out like a drawer from underneath the front section of the cart where the engine and stuff is and pulls out a giant great big wrench and closes it. Who's in the front? Carlias.
Yeah.
He hands it to you.
What the hell?
This. You see this here? This is a lever 1. This is a lever 2, okay? When I shout to pull the lever, you pull the lever with this.
So there's a cog or a bolt that you can twist and turn, and there's 2 of them. One on the left, one on the right, and it looks like this wrench moves them and then affects something on the front of this that affects the minecart in some way. He hands you that and says,
You have to be fast, okay? When I tell you to pull the levers, pull them. You understand?
Right.
Simple. And then
he points to the 2 in the middle cart, which is who?
Me and Lash.
Okay.
All right, I feel I should make a note of this, shouldn't I? Carlias is in cart 1, Raja Lash in cart 2, and then Walter Arden in cart 3. So he
By the
points
time
to,
we're done, by the time we're done, Carlias will be in Thindoon, me and Lash will be in Deadrise, and Arden and Walter will be in Grindwood.
He points to you, Raja, and Lash. He says,
This is in charge of telling us where the ducks. We all have to duck. There's tunnels and bridges and spikes, and sometimes there's the things with claws and a clawitcher, and sometimes there's bats. You gotta be telling us when this is coming. Uses the eyes to stop us from hitting our heads. It's very simple. Okay.
He points at the two in the back cart, Walter and Arden, and says,
Speckle rats. Okay, you shoot them. They chase us. You shoot them from afar. You must. Or the speckle rats attach it to the wheels, and they'll slow us down. We don't want to slow down because that's when the raging wrecks will get us.
And then he hits a button, and the fucking cart starts going.
Wait, hold on. Will we be able to see anything?
Okay.
How dark is it going to be?
That is now up to you to decide, because this thing starts moving pretty quickly immediately.
I have dark vision, so I'm
What
good.
do you want to do right now before this thing actually starts and we begin the mini game of Kobold Minecart?
Okay, in this split second, I grab Carlias by the shoulders.
What?
And I yoink him like backwards up off his feet into the middle cart, and I dive over onto the controls.
Right.
Because I don't have dark vision, so if I'm supposed to be spotting spikes and telling people to like duck, I won't see it. So I was just like, he can see in the dark, and I just yoink him and then trade places as fast as I can.
Oh,
Cool.
my head. What the hell, man?
So, Carlias and Lash, now in cart 2.
I'm
right?
hasting Carlias and Lash. Both of them.
Okay, haste.
And then I'm going to cast magic weapon on... What do you have? Do you have a weapon, Walter? Or are you just going to magic stuff?
Yeah, I'm going to use magic. Yeah. The second I get to cast, I'm like...
Because my dumbass can't use his crossbow well. He's just going to Sacred Flame cantrip, though.
Yeah, no, I got spells. We're going.
Okay, never mind.
I quickly passed the wrench back to Raja.
Thanks.
The cart starts moving very quickly. So, the way this is going to go, basically, the cart... Here, I'm just going to give you the rules of the mini game.
Oh boy.
Here we go, boys.
So which Final Fantasy is this from?
8 and 7.
We're going to Oat Roost, boys.
Quick to answer.
You can always find the reference somewhere. It's a better fun mini game to play at home. What did I rip this off from? Kind of. So. The minecart starts going and the engine starts rolling, but also it starts going downhill. And this thing starts to fucking motor. And the wind is now whipping in your face. The kobold in front, Chambambulus, just sits there just perfectly fine. This is just what he does all day, every day. But he does appear to be pressing buttons and pulling levers of his own. Every now and then throwing some coal or some water into the furnace thing that he's got at the front of it. Raja, you have a wrench in your hand.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Hold the cog!
It's just when you pour the lever, you pour the lever.
Okay.
And he points at the 2 bolts that are there that are wrench size, the correct wrench size, or socket size, whatever. The in cart 1, you're in charge of basically keeping the cart on tracks. And
oh no.
It's going to be whenever essentially we're going to kind of do this in like action order. So like there will be one action that will go and everyone will do a check. You'll make a dex saving throw whenever he shouts at you to do it. Pull the lever. The PCs in cart 2, which is Carlias and Lash, you're in charge of the party's well-being. You are going to be needing to make perception checks each turn to look out for something dangerous in the tunnel and shout at everyone to avoid it. Walter and Arden in 3, you're in charge of keeping the speckle rats that rush after the back of this thing off of it. If it slows it down, you're basically going to be shooting at them and trying to keep them off the back of the thing. So it's going to be attack rolls. This is going to be, let me see here.
A shit show.
A shit show.
What?
Oh, I'm just letting you know I'm turning spell slots into sorcery points. Just so you know.
Do whatever you want to do. You guys should be all full at everything.
Yeah.
Who did you haste?
I hasted Lash and Carlias.
You hasted them both?
Yeah. I twinned it on both of them.
Okay. You guys will have 2 attempts.
Nice.
To see. In fact, what I think what I'll do instead is I'll give you advantage. It's gonna be easier. That is what haste will give you in this. So the cart starts like bombing it down this tunnel. It's very dark, but there are holes and openings all along it, which do actually provide a little bit of light for those of you that don't have dark vision. For the most part, you will have some sort of an idea generally that you're going along. You do also every so often pass like little areas which are just lit up where there are creatures. Some of them kobolds, something else. You're just moving real fucking fast. This thing starts like powering forward, and Chambambulus is just screeching and saying things that you probably don't even understand unless you speak kobold. But he's just as this thing starts moving. He then punches you, Raja, and says,
Pull the levers!
Which one?
give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Which one do you want to pull?
I'll pull the... Well, he said plural, right?
Pull the right one!
I'll pull the right one and then the left one.
He says everything in plurals, to be fair. Okay, so as he hits you and he says pull the levers, you pull the left one and then you pull the right one.
No, I said right then left.
Right and then left. So you pull the...
I don't know if it matters, but he didn't tell me.
It matters. This first check is just to decide whether you go in the dread tunnels or not.
Fuck!
No. So you pull the right one, then the left one, and he says,
We're supposed the right one!
And
you didn't say which one!
The cart just goes duk, 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 and then launches and veers right. All of you feel the thing turn. It goes up on one wheel and into the darkest tunnel you can see. It then drops like a roller coaster into a pit of blackness, and that's where we end today's session.
Oh, come on!
Welcome to the Kobold Mine Tunnel things, everybody. And we'll pick up where that left off. Last session.
So how many sessions did we spend on a murder mystery, and how many are we going to spend on this mini game?
3 and one bit of a session.
Well,
actually, I don't know.
This mini game is literally on rails. All right, we can't
go very
get stuck
wrong.
on it.
Thanks, DM.
It could go very wrong for you. I'm not gonna lie. This is actually pretty tough. It's like I've sugarcoated it as really fun, but it's actually just horrific.
Oh no!
It just got pretty horrific as well. So, no, it's all right. It's pretty fun. It's a fun little mini game that
Everybody's gonna die in.
That everyone's gonna die. Maybe. We'll see next time on Dust. I'm so sick. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you follow all these peeps. Quick round of shout outs. Did we give up shout outs or did we not? I feel like we did, but then
I think we did, and then we didn't. we were like,
we
should,
skipped
and
it
then
like
we didn't.
1 week because we were short on time.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right, well, we got time. Let's do a quick round of shouts. Let's start with Connor Cronus, who next time will have a camera, definitely.
Aye, it will be arriving in the morning.
Exciting.
Twitch.tv/Connor Cronus. But I implore all of you to give love to Brad, because he's making that possible. No longer is Ilios, unfortunately. But soon. Really soon. I've been playing Final Fantasy 15 though. My first proper Final Fantasy, so to speak. I love it. I have fallen in love with it. I want to go back and play all the others now.
Oh, you're going to be fucking in for it. I'm not going to even start the Flame War. Awesome. Go and watch Final Fantasy 15 on the Connor Cronus Twitch channel.
I did a playthrough with like no upgrades.
Oh, yeah, I kind of did that when I did it, though. I just powered through the main story with the intention of coming back and doing all the side questing.
So everyone
whole
in
game
was
is
like,
side
spend
questing.
your AP points.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
It's a good side quest game. It's a fucking great side quest game, actually. Definitely a good stream game, I think. I didn't stream it, but I can imagine that it would be.
When I learned about the one power of the ring, where you just vanish people, that was a holy shit moment. I loved it.
I don't
It's like this
remember.
black
The one
hole
ring.
summons, and it gets
Hey, spoilers!
Spoilers.
I actually haven't played it yet.
Yeah, Emma hasn't played it either, and she might be listening.
Definitely were.
She'll kill me.
Kill me.
Tuesday Gray.
Hi, I'm Tuesday. If you want to watch me do things, you can do that at /Tuesday Gray. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter.
You coming back to streaming soon, or am I being premature?
Yeah,
Like regular
I'm not talking
streaming?
much about it yet because I don't have a date yet, but
I'm blowing that cover right there. I'm blowing.
your peepers peeled.
Got the scoops. Tuesday Gray, massive comeback stream tomorrow.
Yep. 200K minimum viewers.
HJ Attench.
Hello.
Hello.
Dark Souls 3 this week, and then Yakuza 6 next week. Yakuza 6 is going to be god tier. There's a cat cafe in this one. You get to go there and have drinks and pet cats. So, very integral part to the story, probably, actually.
Most definitely.
And I've been getting my ass kicked around in Dark Souls 3 like I've never been kicked by a game. I've played Dark Souls 3 before, but I've never played any of the DLCs for any Souls-like. And the first DLC, without spoilers, the boss, I've been on it for 2.5 hours on and off. I've never gotten my ass kicked so hard. So maybe we beat it today. We'll see.
I haven't done Dark Souls 3. I need to.
It's pretty fun, actually. It's a little like if you liked Bloodborne, because it's a little bit fast. It's not as fast as Bloodborne, but it's a little bit faster than Dark Souls 1, 2, and Demon Souls. And I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I liked Bloodborne. I like Dark Souls 1 a lot.
I liked
as well.
Bloodborne, yeah. The DLC was supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah. Mr. Fairlight Excalibur.
Hi, I'm Fairlight Excalibur, aka Raja, the guy who cheats. Right now we're going through playing Total War Warhammer, so I'm having a lot of fun with that. Never played any of them before, and if you want to follow along, it's twitch.tv/Fairlight_Excalibur. And I just got back from PAX, so I'm still tired. It's 3 days later, and I'm still tired, but we're gonna chug through it anyway.
Gotta get back on that grind.
And I think once I'm done with Total War, I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy 15.
Nice. Also, if you haven't seen Fairlight incredibly happy before, go watch him use flamethrowers in Total War. He gets very happy when he uses the flamethrowers in that game. For good reason.
The smell of burning flesh and watching my enemies melt before me is quite satisfying.
Dude, the range on that thing is stupid. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to use my flamethrowers and melt people. And they're like really far away. I was like, all right, man, good luck with that. Across the entire map. I was like, oh, okay, well, never mind.
I mean, if you've ever like you watch movies or play video games where they have flamethrowers, they're usually like pretty short range. But then if you watch a video of a real life flamethrower, you realize, no, you can melt people from quite a ways off, because it's like, it's liquid that is on fire. And so it's like spraying a water hose. It's not like you're just gushing pure fire that's going to go like 10 feet and then dissipate into the air. It's spraying out and dousing them with this flaming liquid. So it's like, it could go pretty far. Go get yourself like one of the jet nozzles and put it on a hose and look how far it goes. And that's about how far you can get with a flamethrower.
You go, everybody. Make your own flamethrower with Fairlight Excalibur.
Send me videos of you melting, whoever annoys you on Twitter.
Yeah, or just a tree. Maybe don't kill
or
people.
tree, whatever.
Mr. J Brotato.
I don't even know what we're doing this week. I have no idea. This week is Dauntless. That's it. Dauntless and
There you go.
Far Cry and probably like 4 other games. So yeah, there's a lot. That's it.
You gonna play Yakuza?
Next week,
week?
yeah. I've never played
Nice.
0 or any of the other ones, so I'm just gonna go in totally blind, like a fucking
fair enough.
pleb. That's
There
all
you
I
go.
got. Tune into Neon Scream this Friday and
J
watch Wax campaigns.
Brotato. And
Potatoes.
Neon Scream on Friday. And 7th Eon on a Sunday, which is D&D. Neon Scream is the Sprawl, right? Is that what it's called?
Yes. Yeah, Sprawl.
Sunday, there's another Tablestory show called 7th Eon on the Wax Steven channel. And then we have a brand new show called The Nameless Ones. Well, I say brand new. We're on episode 3, I think. which is a Wine, What's Old is New campaign with lots of demons, and I play a nymph creature on Mondays here if you want to catch that. Other than that, we'll see you next Wednesday, where this lot get to face the Dread Tunnels and
Oh
Raging
man, I'm
Rex.
so excited about that.
Or whatever happens, will happens. I don't know. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for playing, players. Thanks for sticking with us. I know we've been on and off for a couple of weeks and stuff, so I appreciate everybody finding us and keeping up with it all and that, and on and off scheduling and shit. That's why you should follow us on Discord, because that's the best place to keep up with it. But we should be pretty good now. I think we've got clean air, right?
Yeah, except
Clean
for
air.
no. Well, 2 weeks from
No,
now
all right, never
we
mind.
have St.
Don't
Jude,
worry.
and that's it.
Forget it. Forget it.
All right, that's all we got.
Streak
Get it.
for
Bye.
Bye.
Pull the lever, Raja. Pull the lever.
Right